KTJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio stations.
I'm Christine Lisi. Down 2 sets early, 6-time Wimbledon champion Novak Djokovic rallied to beat Jannik Sinner in the quarterfinals today at the All England Club. It was the 26th straight victory at Wimbledon for Djokovic. From ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, NBA free agent forward TJ Warren agreed to a one-year deal with the Nets. The signing comes a turbulent offseason for Brooklyn, which got a trade request last week from Kevin Durant and also faces uncertainty about Kyrie Irving's future. The Lakers reportedly one of the teams inquiring about Kyrie. Our Jay Williams.
I think LeBron James and him are extremely compatible. I think they're more compatible than KD and Kyrie because of how you can put them in pick and rolls, because how they can play off each other, because of LeBron is such an incredible facilitator. It allows Kyrie to play off the ball. You know, James Harden was able to do that a lot more with Brooklyn because KD and Kyrie could focus on scoring, whereas
Jay of Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Tiger Woods said today he skipped the U.S. Open because he had some issues with his surgically repaired right leg and did not want to jeopardize his chance of playing in this month's British Open.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
If you had to take
your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, Greene. That's Greene. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNABL.com.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. You want to get involved? You want to see the show? Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click on that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can get into the chat for our 3-hour extravaganza.
Yeah, we have new toys today. You get an extra hour of us. And as angry as I woke up angry.
Which is weird because, like, 4th of July, that's like your America holiday, the time for you to let your mullet fly.
And I
it's
did.
It's your
I
wife's
did.
birthday.
Had a great time. But our 12 Bones question of the day, what is the worst day that a holiday can possibly fall on? Because I fervently believe it's Monday.
Yeah.
Because you come back to, like, I didn't go to bed until 3 o'clock this morning. All right, so I just woke up angry at everything.
I could see that.
If you do it on Sunday, then, okay, the 4th is on Sunday. You do the fireworks Sunday night. You have Monday because that's how federal holidays work. You come back to work on Tuesday and everything's hunky-dunky.
True. Okay. Yeah, I think if it lands in the middle of the week, that's total crap.
Well, Wednesday's not great either. That's your answer to our 12 Bones question.
Wednesday's awful. To me, Wednesday.
No, because then you have like 2 Mondays.
Yeah.
You got Monday on Monday. You got Monday on Thursday. And then it's just this whole discombobulated week where you don't accomplish anything. You don't sleep well. Exactly. Middle of the week intoxicated is never good. That leads to all kinds of sidewaysness.
Yeah. So Wednesday's my answer. Wednesday's the worst day for a holiday to fall on.
See, I believe every holiday should be on either Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
All of them. Dates, I get it. Build the calendar that way. All right. We are fully in charge of how the calendar is built.
So we can zhuzh it. We can tweak it to make sure that July 4th always falls on a Thursday.
Well, Hayes Permar that was filling in for Adam Gold on the show before us, the Adam Gold Show, statewide here in North Carolina. He has long said that after 2025, we should reset all of the calendars, and that year is how the holiday schedule should work forever. I don't 100% agree with that, but I do like that Thanksgiving's always on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's always Thursday. You can take the day off, the next day off, 4-day weekend, college football, all the things.
Right. So
my wife's birthday was yesterday, okay? And not only did I have to get up like today is just another day, it's not America Day anymore. Fireworks, that's not a thing. And I just had to act like today was a normal day. Mm-hmm. And anyone that has crossed my path today, I'm sorry.
So like Independence Day should always be celebrated on the first Thursday of July?
Just put July 4th on a Thursday. We can all take Friday off and we're hunky-dunky. Then we can come back Monday ready to go.
You got to have the rolling Independence Day.
Absolutely.
All holidays should be just rolling, is what you say. Tied to a day of the week.
Bingo.
Not the date.
Bingo. And make the date that date. We control the calendar.
Yeah, but you can't make up okay, so July 4th is going to fall on a Monday.
Why not?
So,
why can you not do that?
What are you going to do? You're going to cut 2 days off of a month?
Yes, cut off a Thursday. Nobody needs Thursday. Thursday's stupid. Just cut a couple of them off. 4-day work week. We're good.
Yeah, so now months are no longer static.
Exactly.
We can cut them down to 28 days, 26 days,
well, I mean,
whatever
think about how
works to
stupid
make
the calendar
Thursday
is
work.
anyway. We got months that have 28. We have a month that has either 28 or 29, just whatever we feel like doing that year.
Right. 4 years.
Then every other month has either 30 or 31 days.
True.
Stop that. Stop it. No. 30 days every month, it can work.
Yeah,
you get 5 days of play. There's still 365 days in a year, and we just and do it the week after Christmas. That week's irrelevant anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You get off for Christmas, and then you work for 2 days, and nobody accomplishes squat.
True.
Use that as your canoodle the schedule week.
Wow. So sometimes we'll have December will be 27 days, and sometimes it'll be 38 days.
Well, February does it every fourth year. You know what? We deserve an extra day this month.
I hope that is the stupidest thing you say on the program today.
Highly doubtful.
Yeah,
greatly unlikely.
Probably. So the 12 bones question of the day: what is the worst day of the week that a holiday can fall on? Jeremy's is Monday. He hates today because today is a Monday, but it's a Tuesday.
Well, because let's be honest, I don't feel exactly a number one. News Gnome Mark Starling took one look at me and went, "You look bleak."
Right.
Yes, Mark, I do. Because when you got up to do your show, I was just winding her down.
Yes. I don't like having to work the day after a holiday. I think if we're going to change the holiday schedules, then we get 2 days for every holiday.
I'm in for that.
Right. I don't care when it falls on. If it falls on a Wednesday, I get Thursday too.
We went to a cookout.
Or the day before. I would preferably prefer the day after.
We did cookouts 2 nights in a row. Last night, we were with some friends that have 2 smallish children. They have a rule. At 3 o'clock in their house every day is nap time. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter what age you are. At 3 to 5, it's nap time. I could push for that, too. And I'm all the way down. I think it's a great idea.
Right.
But I'm not even going there. Just static the calendar.
Okay. I feel like while we're messing with the holiday schedules and stuff as well, we need to add in post Super Bowl Monday.
Oh, absolutely.
Super Bowl Monday has to be a federal holiday.
The fact that's not a federal holiday is dumb. Nobody goes to work anyway, and even if you do, you don't accomplish anything.
No, because it's all just talking about the game and how much money you won and whether you think your team's going to win it next year and all of that. I would add in major championships as well. Major championships, we need the day after off.
All right, now I think you're being a little...
No, college football, you're going to hold the championship on a Monday, you're going to have to give us Tuesday off.
I thought you were talking about major championships in golf. The Monday after the Masters, we're all just taking a nap.
Don't care. Nobody's
not against it.
Nobody's up celebrating the PGA win from the week. Speaking of PGA wins...
You undervalue me.
Speaking of PGA wins, we got to give a good congratulations to Western Carolina University alumnus JT Poston, who won this past weekend at the John Deere Classic.
He might have made me $1 or $2.
Heck yeah.
I love those tournaments where nobody plays. Like every name you've ever heard of. Did they? No. No, they did not. They played the Monday tournament in Ireland.
Right. JT Poston, though, with the win in the John Deere Classic, jumping up into the top 60 of the world golf rankings, which means that he's going to be able to get an invite to the U.S. Open next year if he stays in those rankings. So that's awesome. He's already earned a spot in the Masters. So that's incredible. Good job, JT. Way to go, Catamounts. There we go. We got a lot to get into on the program today. On the news schedule, we'll have an
It's going to look a little different. Right. It's going to sound a little different.
Right.
There might be bugs. We're working through them.
Could be. Answer that 12 Bones question of the day. Did we have a 12 Bones winner from last week?
We did. And had you not asked me who it was,
he never would have told us.
You did it backwards. You said it was Binky Engle last week. It was Hugh Queen the week before, and then I had just told you Binky won this week, and you said he won last week. It got very convoluted.
Okay. So my bad. Hugh Queen, Binky Engle, both 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery prize pack winners. That's how the questions of the day work each and every day. We post it out on social media. We put it in the thread of the YouTube stream. You answer the question, and if we like your response the best, you are the daily entrant into the drawing for the weekly prize pack from 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery. 12 Bones question of the day: what is the worst day for a holiday to fall on? We're going to talk a little football previews here.
We're going to talk a lot of football.
We are
almost 100% football.
Look,
we're this close.
I mean, we've still got things to wrap up in the NBA world with trades. We're waiting on the KD, Kyrie stuff to happen. Of course, we'll give you the updates on that as it rolls on. Baseball really doesn't have a whole lot of headlines going on.
Do they ever?
Yeah. I mean, not really.
Hey, they played another game. What are they going to do today? Play another game. Well, tomorrow?
Right.
Maybe you see a trend.
But, major breaking stories, if one ever does happen in the baseball world, we'll bring that to you as well. But, I mean, this is, 98% football-centric show. We've got the PFF grades for each and every team got posted out last week. So we're going to go over them and,
Some of them made me violently angry.
Yeah, he got really, really mad when I told him who the number 2 ranked team in the NFL was. So we'll talk about that coming up in this hour. We also have, of course, football expansion stuff to talk about. Clemson apparently is now the flavor of the week. Everybody, there's a lot of people talking about Notre Dame, but I feel like Clemson is now the darling.
Well, we're going to lump those two together because I've heard this great misnomer that I really want to set forth of Clemson's more in play than you think they are. And I don't think it's going to take all that long.
Plus, we've got I lost count. I knew it was going to take a few days, but I lost count how many shows we are now until the opening of training camps. But we will continue our pre-training camp previews of each and every NFL team, one AFC, one NFC, each and every day. We're going to do the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles today over the 3-hour show. Plus, all your favorite sideline things, just a bit outside, weird news. Plus, we got some new stuff to share with you.
We have new things.
In the 3rd hour, we're going to do the Daily Draft, the new segment. And then we also have a new segment in the middle of the hour to go with outside and weird. 3rd hour, it's going to be Don't Do Crimes.
I mean, that was the easiest part of this transition. Hey, crime stories.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll talk about the AFC teams, what Pro Football Focus feels about each and every team coming up next.
At Ingles, we're all in for summer. Whether you're hitting the trails, hitting the water, or hitting the golf ball, we have everything you need for the perfect picnic, the greatest grill out, and the best beach vacation. We know that the mountains are calling, the open road awaits, and that pool party is ready to rock. So head on over to Ingles and stock up on all the goodies to get you through your summer of freedom. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with little tips for a healthier planet. This spring, you can share your own observations about nature with scientists and play a critical role in scientific discovery by adding to their data collection. Discover more about citizen science programs such as monitoring weather, observing plants and animals, and more. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Saturday, July 16th, get set to take off with Highland Brewing's Night Flight, a 4.5-mile race that starts and ends at the brewery and features an energetic course through East Asheville and the Beverly Hills neighborhoods. 100% of the race proceeds benefit Asheville Greenways and Connect Buncombe. And runners over 21 enjoy a Highland beer at the finish included in the registration. Register now at highlandbrewing.com and get set for takeoff.
Roger, runner, you're cleared for takeoff from Highland Brewing.
Proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia, Asheville.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Let me hit you with some good news here. I got on my scale this morning, and it said 219 pounds. I am just going crazy over the PhD weight loss program because the pounds continue to fall off. We've been on this program since just before Thanksgiving, and I have lost over 70 pounds. I walked in at 295. It is absolutely blowing my mind.
Tank is quickly approaching light heavyweight status in the UFC, and I'm getting to exactly where I want to be. One of my biggest problems was that I couldn't sleep. I'd gotten so heavy, sleep apnea was wearing on me. And now with the weight that I've lost, I'm back to my high school weight, and I'm sleeping like a baby, and it's thanks to the plan and the food at PhD Weight Loss.
Nutrition is the key to fat loss. 80% of the work comes from changing your nutrition, and PhD has the plan. MyPhDWeightLoss.com. PhD Weight Loss is the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
All right, a little breaking news for your Tuesday afternoon hangover after the holiday.
This is from Dennis Dodd. The Big 12 is involved in deep discussions to add multiple Pac-12 programs to shore up its membership in the wake of USC and UCLA defecting to the Big Ten.
Talking anywhere from 4 to 6 teams to be added.
The teams specifically being targeted are Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah. So it looks like the West Coast Conference that I had aligned, that's not going to happen.
No.
Oregon and Washington would be two they were also interested in, but it appears they have better options.
Mm-hmm. As an ACC born and bred fan, this is good news. I feel like the chances that the Big 12 and the Pac-12, whoever cannibalizes one of the others, leaves the hole open for the ACC to still remain. When we did our breakdown of how we think these super conferences could shake out, we thought the ACC would go away. But not so much. Not so much. If the Pac-12 gets raided by the Big 12, that could change the game. Still think you're going to end up with a nationwide conference, regardless. Saw a stat over the weekend that said Rutgers is as close to UCLA as they are to Iceland.
Correct. And no one cares.
But it's just funny that it's 3,000 miles away from somebody that's in your conference. Very, very different very different era of college football that we're going into. Talking about pro football, though, PFF ratings, however you want to say it, for each and every player in the NFL. They've
every starting lineup of teams.
Yep, they've gone through and broken them down. Who are the top teams in the NFL, 1 through 32, and we all know who 32 is.
3 of the top 5 being in the NFC makes me angry.
Well, Buffalo Bills. Go ahead, do it.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Jeremy's 2022 Super Bowl champion, Buffalo Bills, come in at number 1 as the strongest team.
As they should.
Uh-huh.
That is where they belong.
Number 2, my Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Stupid.
Los Angeles Chargers at 3.
That's fine.
Los Angeles Rams at 4. And rounding out the top 5 is the Green Bay Packers.
I like Green Bay. Okay? I do. But having them at 5 is just a little bit insane.
Well,
as is having Cleveland at 6, Philadelphia at 7, and the Miami Dolphins at 10.
Yeah, but again, this is individual talent. This is not necessarily how you think you're going to
and that's
mesh
all
it
well
all
and
together
good.
Or going by schemes or whatever.
And that's all well and good. Are any of the teams I just said more talented than the Baltimore Ravens? No! No, they are not.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that, but this is your guideline.
I love PFF. Don't get me wrong.
PFF. You go by the PFF rankings, and every time you find a player that you don't like, you're like, oh, PFF hates him.
Yeah, and then sometimes I ignore it.
Uh-huh.
I call that the Devin White rule.
Like
one of the lowest rated linebackers in the NFL. I don't really believe anybody believes that.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. So anyway, the AFC teams, the Buffalo Bills are at 1, and the Chargers are at 3. The problem that you have with this is, yes, you have all of these stars. You have all of these high-rated players, but can you put it together and on the field, and can you win enough games to make your ranking look like that?
My issue with this is the meaty portion of the AFC. I think they all are undervalued. And look, I understand this is based off grade, and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to look above the grade and go, no, I don't think that's true. Name me the position group that the Miami Dolphins are better than the Baltimore Ravens. Any one of them. I'll literally give you any of them.
I would go maybe offensive line.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Wide receiver, I'll give you. Everything else, not even close. Not even close. And I'm not trying to say they're bad. I'm just saying, look, there came a point here where I kind of feel like they did the top 8, they did the bottom 8, and then they went, nobody reads this anyway.
We'll just throw them all in the middle.
But one of my takeaways is that they greatly shaded the Indianapolis Colts, who are at 15, and that's lunacy to me. I think that defense will be really good. Anybody that's listened to the show more than once knows how I feel about Michael Pittman and the addition of Matt Ryan as opposed to the cowardly lion, Carson Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that jumped off to me was Tennessee. Tennessee was the 1 seed in the AFC last year.
Mm-hmm.
They're 20.
That's why you play the game.
And the Raiders are 21.
Mm-hmm.
That's 3 spots ahead of my Jets. I don't care how bad you hate them. That doesn't make any sense. And so where I extrapolate these things is that means there's money that can be made on both of those teams. I'm going to be heavy on the Raiders, and I'm going to be heavy on the Titans because I feel like I don't know if it's the markets they play in. I don't know if it is historical biased of they made the playoffs last year. They didn't do anything with it. It was an aberration. They're going to fall apart this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't value either of those things to be very likely. I mean, do you?
No, I don't. But see, this is where the analytics ruin football for me.
Oh, it's not that they ruin it. It's just people overuse it. It can't be the only thing that you use.
Right.
And I get it, that there are players on each of these rosters that they either don't grade well. Darren Waller never graded particularly well because he's a tight end that can't block. So you have to be able to kind of cut through that. And that's where you get into FPI things, and that's how you wind up just aggressively wagering the Boston Celtics because they were 86% to win the NBA Finals.
Yikes.
I'm not going to get over that for a long time. I'm never going to financially recover from that.
But, you can use, we say you can make statistics say anything that you want them to say. I understand that. However, you can't look at a player like, take the Tennessee Titans, for example. Bud Dupree, his PFF rating last year was 53.3.
I think you chose a bad example.
No. Bud Dupree is a good pass rusher in this league.
And he's bad at everything else. That's actually one that I don't disagree with at all. All right, same team. Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons is one of the 10 best defensive linemen in this league. Yep. And I will literally fight you tooth and nail over that. He gets no accolades because he's about as sexy as a box of Kleenexes. So nobody ever talks about him. You're never going to see him on highlight reels consistently, but he does everything you're looking for. And those are the kind of guys that get overlooked. Now, what can you do with that? Make all of the money, because Vegas falls for this routinely. Teams that have guys like that and, there's a hole here, and they try to game on top of the game and think outside of the box, and it'll burn you. And I'm looking at the Titans. I'm looking at the Raiders. These are deeper values that are being undersold.
Yeah.
And if you let them go by the wayside, that's just free dollars that you let fly right out the window.
Look, I understand this is a grade on this guy can do everything. And one of my favorite things last year during our fantasy football shows was to throw up in your face that Tony Pollard was the #1 running back in the NFL, according to PFF. Well, it's because he does all of the things really, really well. And when he's on the field, he plays
a little bit
at a high
from
level.
that. Where you get into trouble is if that's all you're looking at. Because then a team like the Dolphins becomes a dark horse to win the Super Bowl. Well, no, you just kind of have to say that out loud.
Right.
Does that make sense when I said it?
But what I was getting at with Bud Dupree, for example, is he's a really good pass rusher.
And if that's all he did and that's all he was paid to do, then I would agree with you. It's not,
but
and he's not. He's a cleanup guy. We've argued about Bud Dupree for years.
But what I'm saying is, isn't that what you're paying him for?
No. If I'm paying you like that, I want you to be the guy. ESPN just did they polled executives and players and coaches, best pass rushers in the league. How many of them even mentioned Bud Dupree?
None of them.
0.
Yeah.
0. And guys like that will burn you, and I think that's where you get discrepancies. Things that I just sit around and laugh at. The fact the New York Jets have more money bet on them to win the AFC East than any team in that division. Okay, I am a Jets fan, and if you have drank that much Kool-Aid, you need to see a doctor immediately.
Your Jets, by the way, coming in at 24th.
It's fine. It's a slow ascension to the top.
On the list.
My 2027 Super Bowl champion New York Jets.
2027, you're pushing it back?
Yeah, all right. I mean, you got to be realistic.
If you can even keep all these players together throughout that next 5 years. Yeah, I mean, PFF grades to me, they're a great tool to look at and go, that guy's an all-around player. Okay, this guy's not an all-around player, but that doesn't necessarily tell you whether he's a good player or whether he's even a superstar level player. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We'll talk about the NFC next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the main track for thunderstorms for the next couple of days is going to stay just to the north of us, with big storms likely across parts of northern North Carolina, southern Virginia, kind of missing us to the north. Can't rule out some stray storms next several days, though. 69 degrees tonight with an isolated slow-moving thunderstorm. Isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms Wednesday, Thursday, high temps in the upper 80s. Greatest risk of strong weather to our north. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
You do not want to miss this. Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning's huge summer sale is going on now. 15% off all cleaning services. Carpets, rugs, upholstery, tile, and even air ducts all 15% off. Use promo code summer sale at ZeroResAsheville.com. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Don't miss the Greater Smokies Card Show, July 16th at the Smoky Mountain Event Center. Find amazing sports and trading cards, collectibles, memorabilia, toys, and comics. Admission is just $5 for adults. Kids 12 and under are free. Greater Smokies Card Show, Saturday, July 16th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Smoky Mountain Event Center, 758 Crabtree Road in Waynesville. Vendors, register today for only $40. Email greatersmokiescardshow@gmail.com. Presented by Lemons and Willow Event Management.
Orangutans. They're beautiful, playful, and majestic, and disappearing. Every day, as many as 20 orangutans vanish. They starve to death when their homes are destroyed, or are killed when they stray into villages in search of food. International Animal Rescue is fighting for the survival of the critically endangered orangutan, but we can't do it without you. Please visit internationalanimalrescue.org and help us save orangutans before it's too late. That's internationalanimalrescue.org.
Saturday, July 16th, get set to take off with Highland Brewing's Night Flight, a 4.5-mile race that starts and ends at the brewery and features an energetic course through East Asheville and the Beverly Hills neighborhoods. 100% of the race proceeds benefit Asheville Greenways and Connect Buncombe. And runners over 21 enjoy a Highland beer at the finish included in the registration. Register now at highlandbrewing.com and get set for takeoff.
Roger, runner, you're cleared for takeoff. From Highland Brewing.
Proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia, Asheville.
They say to never mess with the classics, but Panera did just that and more with our new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. By using pan-seared chicken, our secret garlic aioli recipe, Parmesan crisps, and pickle chips, all on a buttery brioche roll. Because if no one messed with the classics, you'd never have a chicken sandwich this good. New Chef's Chicken Sandwiches from Panera. Only $1 delivery fee when you order on our app. Restrictions apply. For details, visit PaneraBread.com/delivery info.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
All right, welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Time to get just a bit outside. We don't talk about baseball a lot.
I mean, there's not much to talk about.
Well, I mean, sometimes there is. Sometimes the game of baseball gives you things you've never seen before. And we had 2 of them yesterday. We had 2 things that never happened in the history of baseball yesterday. One was in the game between the Brewers and the Cubs. We had 3 different kinds of home runs hit yesterday. And Jeremy, when I said this to him, he scratched his head and went, wait.
There's only 2
ways to hit a home run.
In the park, and there's out of it.
Yesterday was the first time in the 147 years of Major League Baseball where a player hit his first career home run. A player also hit an inside to Parker, and there was a walk-off home run all in the same game. Nelson Velasquez hit his first career home run yesterday of the Cubs. Seiya Suzuki hit an inside to park home run, which was just brilliant. Lucky bounce off the bottom of the wall. And that guy's got some wheels. And Victor Caratini topped it off with the walk-off home run to win the game for the Brewers 5-2. Now, also yesterday, we had the first ever 8-5 triple play in a game. The Minnesota Twins pulled it off. There was a great play made in the outfield by Byron Buxton or the Minnesota Twins. I don't know how much you want to take analytics into the case. People love these analytics of, exit velocities and trajectory coming off the bat. But according to the statistics, the super statistics, it was an 82% chance that this ball was going to be in play of some kind. Byron Buxton makes the play, and the White Sox did the one thing that I feel like has become a trend with this team. They just forgot how to run the bases. Nobody stuck around to wait to see if Byron Buxton was going to make the play. One guy was almost at home by the time he threw it back to or by the time he threw it to the third baseman. Third baseman tags one guy out, stepped on second base himself. First ever 8-5 triple play in a game. That was just a bit outside.
This also just a bit outside. Cincinnati Bengals running back Travion Williams is headed back to school. If you don't know who he is a running back that played at Texas A&M, and now he will be an adjunct professor at A&M teaching an NIL college athletics and athletic advocacy class alongside attorney and business consultant Alex Sinatra. Apparently this started as a Twitter joke. Sinatra said something on Twitter to the effect of, being an alumni himself, wanted to teach a class on how to handle NIL and things like that. Well, Travion Williams jumped all over it. So now, in the offseason, he will be a professor at Texas A&M.
Interesting.
And that is a brilliant idea. Think about all the stupid classes you took in school that served you absolutely no purpose.
Mm-hmm.
How to deal with your money probably makes a lot more sense.
Absolutely.
Especially now that you got these young kids that are dealing with exponentially more money than they could have ever planned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to think, the kids that are dealing with NIL right now, they were 16 years old before that even entered their mind.
Right.
It's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing.
That's
I don't often commend Texas ATM, but
I mean, that's why there's long been a fight to have financial literacy classes in high schools to teach people how to deal with their money.
There used to be
some of that.
There used to be a push when people would talk about this that you should teach somebody how to balance a checkbook. No one uses a checkbook anymore.
No, that's outdated. But it is important to, learn some of the adult things. How financing works and all of that. It's a big reason we've got a major, credit crunch in this country. Also, just want to throw this out there. I gotta say, as a Red Sox fan, kudos to ESPN, because they have put a billboard outside of Fenway Park that, may get defaced at some point, but they have a giant Derek Jeter billboard right outside of Fenway Park right now, advertising the Captain, the miniseries that's coming out about Derek Jeter, right outside the front gates of Fenway Park. Brilliant trolling job, just brilliant trolling job. The NFC teams in the PFF rankings, it all starts with my Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 2 overall in the NFL. Now, obviously, when you have a quarterback that is, darn near flawless, then it's going to
If you ever want to know why everybody in the league hates your team, it's what you just said.
Well, of course.
It's that smugness.
It's probably the highest.
He's infallible. Everything Tom does is just great.
I think he's got a PFF grade of 91.7. It's pretty hard to beat, and that's going to skew your team.
Yeah, and I feel like there are so many unanswered questions on this team that nobody wants to talk about. Yeah, you're asking for a lot from a lot of young guys that people like PFF just seem to be overlooking.
Have been asking a lot from a lot of young guys.
Not like this. Even you, the most rose-colored glasses, Logan Hall and Joe Tryon-Choyenko, who couldn't play dead in a Western for the vast majority of last year.
Well, first off, Logan Hall,
Logan Hall's going to be asked to do a lot.
I'm sure he is, but
he will be the Ndamukong Suh interior pass rusher that is pretty important to this defense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, William Golston could do it. He's not good at this, and he's really not good at that. So
Yeah,
there's a lot more
rushing the
issues
passer,
there.
Sure, rushing the passer, sure.
Having Tampa ahead of the LA Rams is the most laughably stupid thing you will hear all day.
Well, and again, it's all because of the guys at the top are superstars.
I can say the exact same thing about LA.
You got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, highly graded wide receivers.
Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson.
Yeah, Allen Robinson. What is his grade?
It's 67, and he was being thrown to by me. So I
yeah.
think we could have adjusted that for, hey, he has a real-life NFL quarterback now.
Right. Offensive line grades very, very well. Of course, they did throw in the college PFF grades for the rookies. So that Luke Godecki signing, projected starter, where he's got a 92.2 PFF grade, I feel like you should take some off of that.
100%.
But the dumbest thing, see, this is what I was, the dumbest thing is the lowest graded player on the Tampa Bay roster.
Devin White.
Is Devin White.
By a lot.
With like 35.1 is his PFF grade. And if you're making a list of the top 10 linebackers in the NFL and Devin White is not on your list, you did your list wrong.
And if you want to know what these ratings mean, a 35 is about what a Coke can would grade.
Yep.
Because it might accidentally get in the way and trip somebody up.
Exactly.
He's one player I've never fully understood what it was that they hated about him.
It's got to be the coverage. It's got to be the coverage because everything else is A+ with him.
Not to them. There's nothing A+ about him. Pat McAfee's PFF grade was like a 54 because he did one-time tackle somebody. So they just don't like Devin White for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It makes absolutely zero sense. And here's where you can make statistics say anything you want to. Aside from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 2, though, you got the Rams at 4, which I feel like is a little low.
It is low, and they should be ahead of Tampa Bay.
Green Bay Packers.
Even you with the rose-colored glasses know I'm right.
I know you're right. I'm just, The Green Bay Packers come in at number 5, and the wide receiver core, to me, takes this team down a notch.
And to me, that scares me very little. I like the defense a lot. We've already talked about Green Bay over the course of the offseason. I'm not as worried about that. That's not where I had an issue.
Okay.
Was there a team in the NFC that you just had a real issue with where they placed in this?
I mean, Philadelphia seems high at 7.
Philadelphia being 7 is borderline insane. But that's not the only one. The Minnesota Vikings at 19. What does that team really not do well? I mean, be honest with yourself. What do they really not do well?
Well, I mean, last
I know
year's
the
team
line grades poorly, but it
Right.
shouldn't because it's good and young.
Yeah, last year's team didn't stop the run well. That's the only thing I can think. I mean,
And I feel
the
like you
secondary wasn't
loaded that
great.
up. I think you kind of addressed that.
Oh, I agree. But I don't know
You
that I
added
can...
pieces to the secondary. I think the defense is really talented. I think they will get after quarterbacks. You're down there with the Patriots? Really? Really?
Yeah.
You're behind Washington?
That's dumb.
Really?
That is dumb.
And I thought I was higher on Washington than anybody. The fact they have Dallas and Washington back to back. Dallas is 16, Washington 17. I saw that and went, oh, we're good. And scrolled past that and went, uh-oh. You forgot a team and just stuck them where you could fit them.
Right. Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals at 24 would be the only one that sticks out and goes, that feels off, but not by a whole lot.
Who are they better than? Arizona's one of those teams that I feel like we're going to talk about all season long of the expectations for them are going to be so high. And I don't feel like this is that hard to figure out. Who are they better than? Are they better than Minnesota? No. Are they better than Washington?
At full strength, I would say yeah.
I don't know about that.
I would say yeah. The defense doesn't compare, but there again, the offense blows their offense out. So
Does it, though?
I
have some pretty legitimate weapons in Washington.
With D-Hop and now Hollywood Brown. And
the problem is you got to wait 6 games for D-Hop.
Kyler
and by
Murray.
then, everybody could be fired anyway.
Well, that's the thing. That none of this ranking did not take any of that into account.
And it shouldn't.
That's why the Cleveland Browns are at 6 or whatever it was. Because Deshaun Watson skews that a lot. The problem is he's not going to play this year, more than likely. Although we don't know.
I'm not sure of that.
Although we don't.
Did you see any of the reporting over the weekend?
What are you hearing now?
There were several very highly thought of analysts that said, I won't be shocked if he's not suspended for a game.
Really? All
Right,
right,
and look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I agree with that. It's just that is something that is out there.
All right, we will be discussing that later on in the program. Stay tuned for the extra third hour that we have brand new today to ESPN Asheville. Otherwise, in the NFC, look, I mean, there are teams that I like better than their rankings on this. Obviously, the Minnesota Vikings, we talked about them being just outside the playoffs kind of a team. But there again, when you're talking about the hierarchy of this league, I mean, 19 to what? I mean, 15? 15 would probably be the highest you could possibly go on Minnesota.
I don't know about that.
Because that's how good the teams are at the top.
I just look at what this league is predicated on. Do you have a quarterback that can be the point guy? Do you have weapons that can consistently beat people one-on-one? Do you have pass rushers that can get after the quarterback? Mm-hmm. I'm going to level. Outside of the 3 things I just said, I do not care. I don't care if you have a running back that can figure out which direction to run. I don't care. I don't care if your corners cannot one-on-one defend anybody. 90% of secondaries in this league, you struggle one-on-one. Mm-hmm. I just don't care. I want to know those 3 things, and then I really want to know what does the coaching situation look like. Outside of that, the rest of it is all just mouth words, memory times.
Mm-hmm. Just rotational pieces don't really matter.
I don't really care all that much.
Right.
Now, if you have a lot of issues, like I look at Tampa Bay, that's the one that I've harped on because you have so many young guys that are going to be playing such pivotal roles that I could easily see that becoming a problem. That becomes the death by 1,000 paper cuts thing. But as was said in our YouTube comments, if you look at, say, Green Bay, the defense is so good at full strength.
No doubt.
Jair Alexander's a top 3 corner in this league, not even debatable. Yep. They believe Eric Stokes is going to be a top 10 guy by the end of this year. Mm-hmm. I don't know that to be true, but that's what's coming out of Green Bay. Mm-hmm. I look at all that on defense. I don't care who you're throwing to. I got Aaron Rodgers. I've watched him turn Mercedes Lewis into a touchdown machine, who I'm pretty sure would run the 40 in about 9 flat right now. Mm-hmm. That just doesn't bother me. If it's one hole like that, and even then, I look at a guy like Christian Watson. He can beat you, just not necessarily by running a route because he doesn't do that all that well.
And maybe not necessarily by catching the ball either.
No, I mean, you might have to hand it to him. Just let Aaron act like a table. Just here, come grab this from me.
We need some of the old school stick-em on there. He's got to be a guy that wears the gloves.
I mean, everybody wears the gloves. Why would you not?
It's true.
I see guys not wearing gloves. And this is totally off topic, but I have to ask. Did you see Pat McAfee asked Kenny Pickett why he wore 2 gloves?
No.
It was from a game that McAfee called. And I guess he had said something to him on the sideline about, well, Peyton wore 2 gloves. And he went, oh, I can do both? And it makes up for my little tiny hands. I just never stopped.
What do you gain by that, though?
2 gloves?
2 gloves? What do you need 2 gloves?
It's more traction. I've always thought that a lot more quarterbacks should do it, especially if you have small hands. It's the reason Teddy Bridgewater does it. Oh, but I don't have the feel of the ball. I don't care. You're not chucking it 40 yards downfield, so calm down.
Right.
You're throwing screen passes and slants. We know what you are, Kenny.
You got traction inside the gloves with traction on the outside of the gloves. It just, I don't know. It just seems like a waste to me.
If it was good enough for Peyton Manning, it should be good enough for anybody else.
At least two gloves make his hands look bigger. It's the only positive I could see in that whole scenario. While we're talking about the NFC teams and the breakdown of the PFF grades for each and every starting roster in the NFL, your Carolina Panthers Came in at number 27 out of 32 teams.
And I think that's about right.
Really? Do you?
Do you think it's too high?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they're behind the Giants, which I don't necessarily think is accurate.
I don't think that's accurate either.
Well, they're behind the Lions, and I think that one's pretty close. Then you get to the Jets, and there's no way you're convincing me that roster is more talented than the Jets. So, I mean, I didn't really have a problem with it.
Carolina Panthers also just ahead of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm not sure that's correct either.
I mean, all right, so I'll say the same thing about Carolina that you said about Minnesota. You got to 25. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah.
You're not getting any higher than that.
Oh, I know.
Especially when you're quarterback. I think his PFF grade was a 4.
Well, see, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to give the NFL fans, especially in the local market, something to cheer for.
Look, I've said this more than once. I fully believe Panther fans have a lot to cheer for. It's just not necessarily going to be wins. Hey, we're gooder than we were before, and I'm happy about that.
We're just cheering for Matt Rule to get fired. That's the only thing. That's the big accomplishment of this year, and hopefully to have Christian McCaffrey for an entire season. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
What if one day you went to your secret hiding place, and instead of what you came for, you found a phone number, 1-800-662-HELP? What would you do? Would you stop and give it some thought? Before drugs take their toll on you and your family, know that there is help. You can quit. For help with drug use, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral, or go to samhsa.gov/knowtherisks.
They say to never mess with the classics, but Panera did just that and more with our new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. By using pan-seared chicken, our secret garlic aioli recipe, Parmesan crisps, and pickle chips, all on a buttery brioche roll. Because if no one messed with the classics, you'd never have a chicken sandwich this good. New Chef's Chicken Sandwiches from Panera. Only $1 delivery fee when you order on our app. Restrictions apply. For details, visit PaneraBread.com/delivery info.
Hey, it's Mark Starling from First News on 570 for my friends over at Casablanca Cigar Bar. And I got to tell you, this is my new spot for business and for pleasure. Sam, Brooke, and Jackie will make sure all of your cigar and cocktail needs are taken care of. They have a wide selection of the finest cigars in every price point, and their selection of spirits and craft cocktails will have your taste buds watering. So whether it's a smoke and a cocktail at their Biltmore Village location or just a smoke at their new retail location in Hendersonville that has a gorgeous back patio, Casablanca Cigar Bars has all the relaxation you need.
Hey folks, DG here. I have raved about Dr. Rebecca Merrill and her staff at Asheville Smiles for years now, and I hope you've already taken my advice. But don't just take my word for it. Gary recently gave a 5-star review online saying, quote, "I love the personal touch, !" They did a great job and explained everything they were doing. I am very happy we found Asheville Smiles, ! Believe me and Gary and the online review masses. And visit AshevilleSmiles.com.
O'Reilly. Stay cool this summer with AC Pro and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro ready-to-use refrigerant products that include a hose and gauge. Beat the heat before you hit the road with AC Pro at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
And welcome back into the Ingles Studio here on ESPN Asheville. The Sportsocracy, always brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings, and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. In the YouTube comments, Tyler Cunningham, so they also have the Cowboys above the Saints. If PFF is lucky, then I need them for my work. He's a scout. And he said otherwise I wouldn't have a subscription.
Not going to lie, they do some things really well. They Chris Collinsworth other things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of, where it is. For posterity's sake, they did have the Cowboys at 16 and the Saints at 11.
And then it was asked, did T.Y. Hilton sign with the Dallas Cowboys? No, that was fake news on Twitter.
It's not real. Fake news.
Somebody pretending to be a Cowboys beat writer on social media posted out that they had signed him to a 2-year, $10 million contract, and it's just not true.
And in the one tweet, they misspelled 4 words.
Did they really?
Yeah. I said, because I'm not going to lie, I fell for it and then had to Google it myself. And there was no AP reporting of it, which made me go, oh, that's not real.
T.Y. Hilton, most useless signing of 2022. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to go ahead and book it.
I don't agree with you.
You don't think so?
And I do think he's going to re-sign with the Indianapolis Colts. Just be a few weeks from now.
Oh, excuse me, Julio Jones. That'll be the most useless.
Oh yeah, there were reports that he's down to either the Dallas Cowboys or going back to the Atlanta Falcons. Woof.
No, see,
man,
that's not going to happen.
You were the man, and now you are not.
I'd still be shocked if he ends up anywhere other than with Indianapolis. Reunite.
That's
with Matt
made
Ryan.
the most sense.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, if I'm Indianapolis, why would I not trust the injury-prone receiver I know as opposed to the one that's played, 6 games in 2 years? I think I'm going to pass on that.
I just throw enough bodies at it, and maybe you'll have somebody, you'll have one receiver to last the entire year.
Sign them both. Have a 2014 Pro Bowl roster.
The PhD weight loss program continues to blow my mind because I have lost over 77 pounds in 30-plus weeks, and I've been getting more active. I did another 5K. I actually ran part of this 5K, which explains a lot of the pains that I'm feeling today. But as sports freak Brian Hall told me, that's a good hurt. That means you got muscles, you're using them, you're getting more active. It's a great sign, and I couldn't have done any of it without PhD weight loss.
If you had told me a year ago that not only Tank would be running 5Ks, but I would be playing golf on the hottest day of the year and not, die, I would have said you were out of your mind. But that was before I started the program. At PhD Weight Loss, I am back to my high school weight. I feel fantastic. And yesterday, I put on a pair of pants that I forgot I owned, and they fit. And it's all thanks to PhD Weight Loss.
One of the things I hate most about weight loss programs is all of the meal prepping that you have to go through. If you've ever done this before, you know that can be an arduous task. They knock it out with PhD Weight Loss. Terribly convenient program. Go to myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss, the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the main track for thunderstorms for the next couple of days is going to stay just to the north of us, with big storms likely across parts of northern North Carolina, southern Virginia, kind of missing us to the north. Can't rule out some stray storms next several days, though. 69 degrees tonight with an isolated slow-moving thunderstorm. Isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms Wednesday, Thursday, high temps in the upper 80s. Greatest risk of strong weather to our north. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria-Moore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Over the last 30 years, 8 million U.S. service members have returned home after serving our country around the world. The biggest challenge a returning vet faces is getting back to everyday life. And a key to that is personal wellness. iHeartRadio has teamed up with some of America's biggest veteran organizations and programs to create Show Your Stripes, a one-stop destination for veterans and their families to find the resources they need. If you're a veteran facing challenges, or if you're looking out for the well-being of a veteran you know, visit showyourstripes.org today.
Try Taco Bell's new cheesy double beef burritos now. A melty 3-cheese blend with nacho cheese sauce and double the seasoned beef in classic and spicy. At participating stores for a limited time while supplies last. Prices vary, tax extra. Double the seasoned beef as compared to beefy melt burrito.
The Sportsocracy.
Let's open up the whole can of kick-ass and kill them all. Let the paramedics sort them out.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Former star receiver Demaryius Thomas had the degenerative brain disease known as CTE, which is linked to repeated blows to the head, according to doctors from Boston University who had been studying his brain. Thomas died last December at age 33. Free agent forward TJ Warren agreed to a one-year deal with the Nets as they deal with Kevin Durant's trade request and uncertainty surrounding Kyrie Irving's future in Brooklyn. With Durant under contract for 4 years, the Nets can be patient and get the package they want in any deal, explains ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
Brooklyn's mandate internally is to get the biggest, best package of assets, draft picks, and players that they can get for Kevin Durant. And with 4 years left on his contract, they have that leverage. I think right now for Brooklyn, they're looking at perhaps 4 to 5 first-round picks, pick swaps, and then an all-star level player at the minimum.
Adrian Wojnarowski, 6-time Wimbledon champ Novak Djokovic had his back against the wall in the quarterfinals today, dropped the first 2 sets to Jannik Sinner, then roared back, won his 26th straight match at the All-England Club. Djokovic faces Cameron Norrie in the semifinals.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Bonus. That's bonus. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNABL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome back into the Ingles studio here on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Second hour of the first 3-hour program here on ESPN Asheville of the Sportsocracy. We are now 3 to 6 every weekday afternoon.
It's like Gilligan's Island. It's a 3-hour tour.
Exactly. So
and you do kind of look like the, what was it, the captain?
The captain? Do I?
A little bit.
Okay. All right.
Even with the
Is
weight
that a
loss.
fat joke?
No,
hell?
you just got that. You got that captain shape to you.
I'm going more. I'm going for more of the Gilligan now.
You're not quite.
I'm
the
not
Gilligan.
quite there.
I don't think you're making it to Gilligan.
Not quite there. It is a Tuesday afternoon. 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery question of the day is, what is the worst day that a holiday can fall on? Jeremy contends that it is a Monday.
It's a Monday. That's why I'm so angry. I did, holiday things, HWA birthday things last night.
Right.
I needed a little more buffer between coming back to work and those things being over. So it's Monday.
It's a whole lot of complaining today on social media. I've noticed everybody is just upset with the fireworks. And I'm like,
what do you mean upset with the fireworks?
Like, we've been doing this forever.
Stop.
Like, our entire
I know
lives
exactly
now.
what you're going to say.
Yes.
Stop that, okay? And look, you know what? My name's on the door, so I can say this. We've been doing this for 250 years.
Indeed.
Okay? Fireworks are an integral part of this holiday.
Bingo.
If you have pets that are scared of them, put them in a quieter spot in your house. There are ways to do that. We've done this as long as the country has been a country.
Indeed.
It's not new.
Indeed.
It's not like we just woke up one day and went, hey, you know what we're going to do? Blow stuff up on a Tuesday. Just because we can. You know it's coming.
Right.
Make some concessions.
Right. And you see every Karen in the world on Facebook talk about, oh, I can't believe they're shooting off fireworks in my neighborhood again. Spot can't deal with the stress. And the, you know what?
Get
Maybe
a
you
weighted
need to
blanket. I can
right.
tell you where to get them. They're about $9. Put it on the cage. Won't hear anything.
Yeah.
I promise.
And there are also drugs. There are drugs that you can give your dogs.
That sounds like crimes.
Not those kind of drugs. They're like trazodone and stuff like that. Like, you know, there are things that you could give your dog to kind of zonk them out and make sure that they don't freak out. Anti-anxiety pills and such.
Tank's taking his dog to veterinary clinic run by Keith Richards.
Whatever it takes to keep her from chewing stuff up in the house while the fireworks are going off, I don't care. I'm continually baffled each and every year that we do this, and we see the same people complaining all the time. They're shooting off fireworks near my house. Yeah, if you live in America, buddy, we're shooting fireworks somewhere.
You know where you won't get that? Not here. Because it's American Day.
Exactly.
I let my mullet flow yesterday and celebrated my nation's independence by blowing up a small part of it.
Indeed. The question becomes, how integral are the fireworks to any 4th of July celebration? And coming up in the next hour, we're going to kick off our new segment of the Daily Draft.
I'm really excited about this. So every day what we will do is have a 4-round draft of some random question. Sometimes it'll be sports related, sometimes it won't. Today, we will be building our own 4th of July cookout. And whichever, what I take, he can't have, and what he takes, I can't have. Mm-hmm. And after the show on social media, you'll be able to vote which party would you like to show up to. And as of right now, you can vote on who gets the number 1 pick. And right now, you're winning that.
Yeah, I get first pick.
That seems like That seems like a mercy. Jeremy is the draft guy, so he's probably good at draft things.
Yeah.
Maybe we should give Tank the first pick.
I've been around longer, though, so I feel like I could, I can.
You also eat weirder things.
I do.
I feel like I'm going to have to go food really early.
You'll never know. You just have to wait and see. Daily Draft coming up at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. That felt weird to say that for the first time. But now 3 to 6 here in the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville is the Sportsocracy. You can get us everywhere on the YouTubes. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can get in the chat with us.
Devin, our chief medical correspondent, and one of the fine people that you can go visit at 629 Brevard Road, Fred Anderson Nissan. They want to buy your car, and they will give you $250 extra just for being a friend of the show and telling them that you heard about them from us. Mm-hmm. Said don't feed your dog trazodone because that's a horse tranquilizer. Not the go-to. Plenty of over-the-counter medications that you can use.
That's what the veterinarians gave us to give her before we take her to appointments because she's a little high-strung.
Well, then apparently you have a small horse.
She's not that big of a dog.
It's a strong-willed
dog. It's like a little
dog.
teeny tiny pill. It's not a trazodone. I mean, they gave me trazodone before my last back of the shot that I had to have.
Well, here's the thing. You're a pretty big dog yourself. I know you lost PhD weight loss, but you were still not a spring chicken.
It's all right. So anyhow, just saying we've been doing this for a long time. You should be expecting that they're going to be shooting fireworks off near your house on 4th of July. Stop it, Karen, with your
Especially
Facebook
if you
posts.
see my car. If you see my car on basically any day around the 4th of July, you should go, things are about to explode around that guy.
Things are about to explode as well in college football because we got conferences picking up new teams. We got the SEC adding Oklahoma and Texas. Now we got USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten. And everybody wants to know, and everybody's contemplating what is the next move. Notre Dame, obviously, they've always been an independent. Whenever we talk about conference realignment, everybody has to talk about Notre Dame. When is Notre Dame, one of the heritage programs in college football, finally going to align itself with a conference? I feel like that day's coming. I feel like Notre Dame is going to have to join one of these super conferences.
And see, I disagree.
I know.
I think they're the one that can still wait. They can wait. But here's the thing. You tell me what scenario comes up in college football that Notre Dame is not alluring. There's not one. There's no path. They can continue to play because they've got deals with all these schools forever, so it doesn't matter where they go. USC is stuck in playing them. Nobody else has that. If the ACC dissolves and Florida State gets left sitting on the sideline with the coffers in their hands, they don't have any deals to play anybody. Yeah, you'll get Miami. Yeah, you'll get Florida. Outside of that, there's a lot of Jacksonville State in your future, and that will not go well.
Right.
Notre Dame doesn't have any of that fear. Plus, they have the TV deal. Notre Dame's TV deal by itself is better than every team in the ACC. Plus, if you try to break with the ACC now and go to the Big Ten, which is how I feel like that would probably go, you get into legal wrangling, and now you're spending money that you don't have to spend. Notre Dame's fine.
Well, they're definitely not joining the SEC. I mean, we know that's out of the question.
Don't necessarily throw that baby out with the bathwater. It's not as unheard of as you think.
What?
All right, a week ago, would you have not thought it was astronomically stupid for USC to join the Big Ten?
Oh, absolutely.
And then you hear it and you go, I get it. I understand why you're doing that.
I mean, I understand.
You're a good enough program. You don't want to tie your little red wagon to the Big 12. I get it. Notre Dame's in the same boat.
I completely understand why they did it. Geographically, it makes no sense, but we've got to get out of this.
Doesn't matter.
Right. We've got to get out of this mindset of, oh my God, Rutgers is closer to Iceland than it is to UCLA. Nobody cares,
and they're also only going to play them once every 4 years.
Right.
So none of that matters. They will play they will insulate themselves the way the schedule's laid out to where they will play the 4 schools that are closest to them every single year. They will take these long road trips once every 4 years. And it may not even be that. Maybe every 8. Maybe every 4 they have to come to us, and then 4 years later we go to them.
It's more worried about UCLA and USC because they're going to have to be making some cross-country trips as well, but they've got the money to deal with it.
And they've got plenty of money. Sure. The difference in the TV deal will absolutely eat into that. That's not a problem.
So everybody seems to be focused on Notre Dame, but now that the opinions are out there on Notre Dame of which conference they should go to, not going to be the SEC.
Don't rule that out.
I think that national championship beatdown that they got at the hands of Alabama probably still sticks in their craw.
Don't rule that out.
They know that they won't be competitive in the SEC.
You have got to stop worrying about competitive. It's all about the money.
I get it. Still disagree, but I get it. And they could stand pat. They could stay independent. They still have the college football playoff deal that they can get in as long as they're good and all of that. That's fine. Well, now everybody's jumped to Clemson. What's Clemson going to do?
Which is funny. I'm going to level, and this is going to rankle some feathers with Clemson fans. You're attractive. I don't think you're as attractive as you think you are. Clemson does not make the level of money that you think they do. They're up there, but they're in the mid-20s. It's just the way it is. You're not as attractive as Florida State. You're not as attractive as Louisville. Now, if you're worried about competitive, which the SEC does not care.
No.
They don't care. They made that very clear when they added Missouri. You're also not in a market that's all that attractive. I mean, be honest with yourself. Clemson's in the Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson market. That's what, 60th in terms of media rights?
Not in TV markets.
Well,
it's a high TV market.
Yeah, I think it's 37. I think I was actually a little low on that.
I think
you know what it's not?
Very high TV market.
It's not Atlanta.
No, it's
not Atlanta. You know what else it's not? Anything in Florida. It's not any of that. That's an element of this state that you don't currently have. You already have a pretty good hold on South Carolina. And that's one of the things you have to remember when you start moving these things around. The other thing you have to remember is the grant of rights. And I've heard this talked about ad nauseum since the USC news came out. So I did a little digging and asked people that are infinitely smarter than me. Not hard to find, I'm well aware. After the break, I will tell you why, yes, the grant of rights deal is a problem, but it's not as big a problem as you think it is.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
A little bit of a slow spot for us this afternoon. Still continuing on the westbound side of 26 between New Airport Road and Long Shoals Road. The good news, no accidents here, just some stop-and-go traffic through Henderson. Elsewhere, looking at pretty normal volume on 240 westbound. Nothing too out of the ordinary now between Charlotte Street and Haywood Street. We're moving along pretty nicely. I'm Tom Miter with your Time Saver Traffic.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Try Taco Bell's new cheesy double beef burritos now. A melty 3-cheese blend with nacho cheese sauce and double the seasoned beef in classic and spicy. At participating stores for a limited time while supplies last. Prices vary, tax extra. Double the seasoned beef as compared to beefy milk burrito.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with a new way to enjoy our beautiful planet. Energy consumption is a primary contributor to a changing climate, producing around 27% of greenhouse gases in the United States. Save money and energy at home by turning off your computer completely before you go to bed. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. Depression won't show up on an eye chart, and you won't find PTSD by looking at a thermometer. Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment. Anxiety won't just go away under a bandage. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy. I mean, frankly, I can't wait for all of the courtships that are going to happen.
I just want it to be done. I don't want to do this every 10 years. I mean, we've already done this once, and we had this seismic shift to where all these little tiny schools, I've just now figured out where they all play.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to do this again. But one of the big narratives has been with all the ACC schools that they signed over granted rights. So the ACC basically has the legal right to own their media rights if they were to leave. Mm-hmm. Plus, the buyout's going to be astronomical. There's one thing that people seem to be undervaluing about that. Lawyers get paid a lot of money, and it's for one specific purpose, because they're good at what they do, and they're really good at cutting holes in a contract. Mm-hmm. And what I was told over the weekend is where the ACC is going to struggle if a Miami, if a Florida State, if a Clemson want to get out. John Swofford made these media deals. The ESPN deal is a joke. Mm-hmm. They're making like Mountain West money in the ACC. But he wanted this deal done for a long time.
Yeah.
And where they're going to run into a problem is a lawyer worth their weight in salad dressing is going to say John Swofford did not make these deals with the ACC school's best interest at heart. It was with his and his legacy. I left them with a TV deal. I left them to where they couldn't be pilfered. I left them in the ACC. I took care of them. But you didn't take care of the membership schools, which is what you're supposed to do. I'm not a lawyer. I don't play one on television. I don't claim to be one. But I will tell you I had two that do corporate-y things like this that said the grant of rights won't be a problem.
Right.
Now, is it possible they're going to have to cut a big check? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll make that money up in 2 years.
Right.
And having a seat at the playoff table, you might make it up quicker than that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing you cannot do here is get left holding the bag. If you remember when we did this last time, UConn got left holding the bag because they were in the Big East. The Big East dissolved.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where's UConn now? And I'm not trying to tell you that Clemson and UConn are going to fall on the same level of hard times. That's not it. There are schools that can fall on that.
I'd believe that, though.
That's way too drastic.
You think they've gone too far? They've gone too far to the national power to ever go back? Because,
no.
I mean, they were also Rans. They were irrelevant in college football before.
And I feel like people forget that.
Mm-hmm.
People forget that the allure of Clemson now is how competitive they are right now.
Right.
If you go back to 10 years ago, they were not that attractive.
No, it's like the first, 5 years that Dabo Swinney was there? They were irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. And irrelevant's a strong word. They were just an also-ran.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't come with an overly attractive media market. You were talking about the Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson. You also have to remember they're on the very far side of that. They're at least an hour away from Greenville, which is the hub there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really come with the Atlanta market. That's a Georgia Tech market. So there's not a lot that's super attractive. I mean, yes, you're competitive. But now think about this. All right, Clemson breaks the grant of rights. And they get into the SEC. How good are they in the SEC? How many schools are they legitimately better than? Because you got to remember, this is your allure. You're not a money factory like people make them out to be.
I would say they're better than all but 4 of the programs that are in the SEC.
And so that puts you at 5.
Yeah.
What's 5 really going to do you? I mean, be honest with you, the playoff at best is going to 12 teams. We're not going to 16. That ship sailed.
Right.
I think you're going to struggle to get 12 initially. Because now the Big Ten and the SEC, we threw you an olive branch and you spit in our face, and now we're just going to pilfer you.
Right.
I don't need you now. Clemson, I hate to break this to you. You're not Alabama, and you're never going to be.
No.
That day is not coming. And so now you're in this kind of catch-22. I don't see a path that they're in the ACC 3 years from now. I don't see a path that there is an ACC 3 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
That was another thing I was told, is watch them all team up, dissolve the conference, and then the grant of rights doesn't matter.
Right.
If the conference can't sustain itself, then none of it matters. And if they're playing East Carolina and South Florida, I don't think anybody really cares.
No.
No shade on them. I love them both.
Right. And that's kind of what I meant about, awaiting the courtships that are going to happen. Because I feel like as more of this continues, there will be courtships both ways. There will be the Big Ten and the SEC looking to add schools. I'm not saying they're going to start throwing out bags of money or anything because they don't have to. It behooves the other schools to join their conferences. But they're still going to seek them out. They'll still seek out the Carolinas and the Dukes and obviously Clemson for because that's the big football power.
Well,
now.
I mean, and that's the attractive part of this. So now you've got 2 superpowers. And what the story that's come out today really just tells me what's getting ready to happen. So you've got the Pac-12 and the Big 12 that are we're going to team up and we'll do everything west of the Mississippi and maybe you'll care sometimes. Okay. So what does that leave now? Where do the SEC and Big Ten go in this arms race? They go to eviscerate the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
But there's $100 million grant of rights.
Who cares?
Okay, so this entity prints money.
Yeah,
because they print money.
Yeah, depending on what schools it will be that get thrown into or accepted, I guess I should say, into the SEC or the Big Ten. That's going to make the TV contract worth more. There
are people that think the Big Ten is going to end up 30 deep. That's a number I had specifically said to me. It could end up 30 deep, and virtually every school you care about in the ACC winds up in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know they cannot compete 1 through 4. Because you're going to have Ohio State, they're a stalwart organization in college sports.
Yes.
They know no matter how the cycle goes, there will always be 4 SEC teams that are in the top 10 of college football, and that's never going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And you're probably never going to be there unless you have a billion teams. And then it gets into logistical headaches and different things like that. But the Big Ten knows we're in acquisition phase. We need as many things. We need as many markets. Because even say it out loud, college football starts with what? It's the SEC.
Yeah.
If you're a lay fan, you don't have a team. And on a Saturday afternoon, you have to pick a game to watch. Where are you going?
My answer there was going to be Labor Day? What do you mean? I wasn't following where you were going.
Technically, that is correct.
Yeah.
But if you're a lay college football fan with no rooting interest and you have to pick a game on a Saturday afternoon, where are you going?
SEC.
With Brent Musburger and all of those things. That's where you're going to land.
Mm-hmm.
The Big Ten knows that. But if you acquire enough things, you can be competitive. And you'll have your spots at the table, and the money's going to be right. And if you give it time, eventually the cream will rise to the top. Where I have been, be careful what you ask for. It seems like every person affiliated with Clemson can't get out of the ACC fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
You do get that you're a big fish in a small pond. And if you become the big fish in the big pond, it's not going to look the same way that it has.
No, now you're Texas and Oklahoma.
I don't know that I even agree with that. I think they can kind of have a corner on the market. But one of the things that gets left out of this is, all right, South Carolina is a much better state to recruit than they're given credit for. Well, if now you're going to have Clemson and, say, Florida State and North Carolina and all these places that are really close, South Carolina's as attractive as Clemson is.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to break that, but they have more money than Clemson does. And no, they don't have the tradition and the national titles, but wouldn't I rather want to go build? Wouldn't it be equally opportunistic to go build that at South Carolina? People forget that. That's what Texas A&M did. Texas A&M put themselves in a position where they were non-competitive in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
That was 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They're competitive now because what happened?
Money.
The money just came in droves, and it became so much easier to say, well, you can come to Texas A&M and go Stone Cold Steve Austin double birds at Texas for not giving you an offer. Now you can play high-level college football. You can play against Alabama. We're going to get you drafted. And I look at Clemson and go, you do realize that you will never be as good there as you are here. Well, you don't have a lot of other attractive assets. I mean, yeah, you're one of the most attractive schools that can be had.
Mm-hmm.
You're not Florida State.
No.
You're not Louisville. You sure as hell aren't Notre Dame. You don't float in those rivers, and I hate to break it to you, but you don't. You give it enough time, and you might be able to. But there are some geographic issues. There are some issues there that I don't know that Clemson can ever get over.
Mm-hmm.
And where I'm headed with this is I kind of feel like they should be making a call, but it's not necessarily the call that everybody is looking for them to make.
Okay.
I feel like there's a call they can make of we'll say a little partnership. And it's not with a conference.
Okay.
It's with Oregon.
Really?
Oregon does exactly what Clemson doesn't. They are not a competitive school on the national scale. But we beat Ohio State. Yeah, and Boise State beat Oklahoma one time. Doesn't mean you would do that regularly. Put yourself in that conference and see how often you get drugged down the sidewalk, because it would be often.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of look at Oregon the same way. But if you can package yourself together we become the national conference, that's the Big Ten's only path. And Oregon, I honestly believe Oregon is more attractive than Clemson is. I know that sounds insane at face value. I don't think it's as insane as people want to believe.
I would agree.
Especially people here.
I would agree brand-wise. Brand-wise, Oregon is better because they've got Nike, because they got Phil Knight money behind them. It's more recognizable.
It's the one thing that's not going to go away.
Yeah.
Clemson can go into the SEC, become a 7-6 also ran, and now you're not on the lure anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you become? Oh, I'm going to get hate mail on this. You become Tennessee. Same color, same. Same geographic region, you become Tennessee.
I hear no lies.
And Tennessee's not bad, but Tennessee also prints money. Mm-hmm. Tennessee has a gigantic stadium that they fill out no matter how good they are. That's a hard ticket to get, even when they're not good.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson doesn't have that. I've been to Clemson. The Bowden Bowl used to be a fun game for me to go to every other year because we would just traipse into Clemson and beat them sideways.
Mm-hmm.
And you look around in the entire stadium. One side of the stadium is garnet and gold. I've never seen that at Tennessee.
No.
Even when they're bad. And yes, sometimes their fans don't do things that you would love, but they still show up.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon kind of has the same thing. Your fan base, no, it's not as big as a Clemson. No, it's not as big as a Tennessee. But the money's not going anywhere. Papa Phil is always going to have deep pockets as long as he lives and breathes on this earth. That ain't going away. Clemson, your allure could evaporate. Theirs won't.
Yeah. Anyway, wrapping it all up as the conference shifting continues. Clemson, Carolina, Duke, all these teams in the ACC, so what if you have to pay $100 million to break away
You'll
from
make
the
it
ACC?
up in 2 years.
Exactly.
And I'm going to make a sweeping declaration. You're going to see one of these schools jump, and I'll bet you it's by the end of the month.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the main track for thunderstorms for the next couple of days is going to stay just to the north of us, with big storms likely across parts of northern North Carolina, southern Virginia, kind of missing us to the north. Can't rule out some stray storms next several days, though. 69 degrees tonight with an isolated slow-moving thunderstorm. Isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms Wednesday, Thursday, high temps in the upper 80s. Greatest risk of strong weather to our north. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria-Moore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
You've got a pretty good drive this afternoon. No major problems to tell you about right now. Just a little bit of some long-term road construction on 40 in both directions between Route 25 and also Dunsmore Avenue. Elsewhere, traffic looking really well right now on 26 westbound as we approach Long Shoals Road. Eastbound side of 26, no delays as we approach I-40. I'm Tom Miter with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Tyson Furniture.
At Tyson Furniture, we have a huge selection of furniture, honest values, and great service. We're a big store, and Black Mountain has wonderful restaurants and interesting shops to explore. Visit us at Tyson Furniture in Black Mountain, where beautiful homes begin.
Over the last 30 years, 8 million U.S. service members have returned home after serving our country around the world. The biggest challenge of returning vet faces is getting back to everyday life. And a key to that is personal wellness. iHeartRadio has teamed up with some of America's biggest veteran organizations and programs to create Show Your Stripes, a one-stop destination for veterans and their families to find the resources they need. If you're a veteran facing challenges, or if you're looking out for the well-being of a veteran you know, visit showyourstripes.org today.
Tide presents Laundry Truths, Cold Hard Savings.
Oh, hey, about to start a load. On hot? You know, washing in cold water with Tide can save you up to $150 a year on your energy bill. $150? Go on. The lower the temp, the lower your bills. Simple. Plus, Tide Pods are designed for a powerful clean, even in cold. Wow, cool tip. Get it? Oh, yeah, I get it.
Turn to cold and save with Tide. Energy savings based on average from switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
They say to never mess with the classics, but Panera did just that and more with our new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. By using pan-seared chicken, our secret garlic aioli recipe, Parmesan crisps, and pickle chips, all on a buttery brioche roll. Because if no one messed with the classics, you'd never have a chicken sandwich this good. New Chef's Chicken Sandwiches from Panera. Only $1 delivery fee when you order on our app. Restrictions apply. For details, visit PaneraBread.com/delivery info.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
And welcome back into the Ingles Studio here on ESPN Asheville. It is time to get weird, and, well, now let's go to the state of Florida.
Oh, these are fun.
Where a home, sadly enough, was destroyed overnight in Fishhawk Ranch. That's a new one. Never heard of Fishhawk Ranch before. But the home was, guess what? It caught on fire in the middle of the night.
Oh, were they doing crimes?
Anybody want to take a guess of what happened?
Meth lab caught on fire.
No, it wasn't a meth lab.
Oh.
No, this was a guy shooting off fireworks. Shooting off fireworks for the 4th of July, and the owner of the home thought he was doing a good deed. Because what do you not want to do when you're shooting off a bunch of fireworks at your house? You want to leave all the trash laying out for your neighbors to see. So he gathered up all of the wasted cartridges from the fireworks and put them in a big old cardboard box. And he took that cardboard box and he put it inside his garage. Well, the problem with that is sometimes those things are still hot.
On fire.
Yeah, sometimes they're still hot. And apparently a fire was sparked in the garage by the cardboard box full of discarded firework casings. And firefighters say you forgot one important rule. Water. You always add water.
Smokey Bear taught us this when we were children.
That's right.
Add water, stir it, add water again.
Unfortunately, there was one loss in the fire, or at least they assume, because one of the pets cannot be accounted for. 3 cats were saved. 1 cat apparently has gone missing. So first off, guy had way too many cats.
Ariel Robinson's on line 3. She would like to talk to you.
Our resident Asheville cat weirdo. So thankfully no one was hurt. Unfortunately, the entire house was a total loss because apparently the guy lives around a whole bunch of power lines or something, so they couldn't drop water on the house. And maybe he lives up next to a lake or a swamp or something, and they couldn't get to the back side of the house where the fire was the hottest. And unfortunately, he lost everything. Trying to do a good deed to clean up after yourself, and you set the house on fire.
And here's my question. Who cleans up after fireworks? Like, just, hand me another Miller Lite.
Apparently, Jeremy doesn't live in a community with an HOA.
No, I don't, and I never will. Those are 3 letters that I do not want to see beside each other with my email address.
Yeah, you can't run afoul of the HOA by not cleaning up your fireworks trash.
Never heard it called that before, and now I'm not going to call it anything else. Passengers on a Minneapolis-bound Delta Airlines flight were given an offer that A, I've never been offered in all of my travels, and B, there's no shot I would have said no to. They were departing the Gerald R. Ford International Airport in Grand Rapids, Michigan, it was a flight to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Well, here's the problem. They overbooked it, and Inc. magazine's Jason Ayton wrote a personal account of what happened. So they oversold the flight.
Okay.
As you do. They offered people $5,000 in cash to jump on another flight.
And
gets better. No one took them up on it. What? So they upped it to $7,500.
And
no one took them up on that. So they offered $10,000 in cash.
Who are these bougie people?
Allegedly, a flight attendant said, if you have Apple Pay, you'll even have the money right now. We'll Apple Pay it to you right now. Nobody took them up on it. Nobody took them up on it.
That's surprising.
I'll walk to Minneapolis. I don't care. It's not that far.
No doubt.
I'll hop a boat. I don't care. It's just a little tiny flight. Well, apparently with many of the issues that have been happening in the airline industry, they have upped these offers because this is not new. This happens all the time. They'll overbook a flight and they'll offer you, to transfer out the ticket and they'll give you cash on top. I've never heard it be this high. I mean, I've seen $500. I think I saw as high as $1,500 one time on a flight that was going to be hard to reschedule. This was $10,000. And they have all these accounts of guys that went, well, the reason I couldn't is, because I had to get home and I don't like my house that much.
Yeah, I don't need to get home.
I don't care if I ever get home. Like, I'll do the show from my cell phone until you can get me back to where I'm going.
I mean, part of me wouldn't care if I was going to miss my son's graduation to do it. I mean, that's part of the tuition.
And you had to go over the top.
Hey, that's part of the college tuition right there, paid for immediately in the bank. Got it.
See, and you're the person that they would never get to this number.
No.
They'd offer you $11. You go.
Done.
Me, I'm in the background with my Jerry Maguire glasses on going, let's talk deal. How bad do you want this seat?
Right. See, I never would have got to the 10,000 figure.
No.
Because as soon as they said 5,000, I went, and
you would have gotten to 500 and you'd have been tripping over yourself to take it.
Yeah, I would have.
And everybody on the flight would be going, but be cool. Man, they got more money. There is more money in that bag. I know it.
But still, at $10,000, nobody took them up on it.
According to the story, 2 did, and they apparently made other accommodations for 4 others that got them down to the number that they needed to. I would wager those 4 probably took it too. They just didn't want to admit that they did.
Right.
Which would probably also be me. Ask, did they pay you $10,000? What are you, a cop? What are you, the IRS? Go away. I'm not telling you what they did.
Oh, that's 100%. You're getting some kind of a statement for that.
I'm wearing a Ted DiBiase diamond-lined pinstripe suit. Don't ask questions. Just be cool.
Does that fall into like the lottery winnings? Like you have to report that kind of thing?
Again, I ask, what are you, a cop?
I'm just curious. Look, I don't know.
Yes, there is a section on your taxes for lottery winnings.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying. Would this fall into that? Are you going to get like a 1099 from the?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, from
you would get a tax
airline.
For this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not paying taxes on this.
No, we gave you $10,000. Of course, you got to claim that on your taxes. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Jeremy, you ready to talk about the New England Patriots?
Unfortunately.
The bane of Jeremy's football existence is a New York Jets fan. The New England Patriots looking forward to, trying to, surprise some people. That's the best thing you got in this 2022 season because I don't feel like the expectations are high anywhere outside of Foxborough.
It depends on what you consider high.
Playoff team.
Oh, there are a lot of people who think they're a playoff team. Oh, there are a lot of people who think they're a playoff team. As of right now, according to Bet Us, they are, I want to say it's plus 350 to win the division.
Okay.
Which, I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's quite a bit. And I don't see it.
I don't either. I look at this team and go, yeah, it was great that you were competitive last year.
It's dropped down to plus 500 just for posterity's sake.
You won some games last year that we didn't really expect you to. And keep going back to that Buffalo game that was so weird.
You mean the game where McCorkle threw for 6 feet?
He did.
And they still won?
He did. What was it, 26 yards?
I don't even think it's that much.
Something like that. Insane. Ground game. But how much longer can you do this?
This is where it catches up with you. I mean, this is, and I hate to use this reference because I use it a lot, but this is the old Colin Cowherd line. I could become the CEO of Microsoft, and for 18 months you would have absolutely no idea that anything happened until the decisions that I made started taking hold. And I feel like that's where we're at with Bill. The fact that you were one of the most god-awful drafters in this league was covered up by Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Now the problem is, name me the last offensive weapon, legitimate weapon, that they drafted.
Gronk.
That's the last one I remember.
Gronk and Aaron.
Because
they drafted in the same draft?
Yes, they were. And other than that, it's just been whiff after whiff after whiff after whiff.
I mean, I feel like he tried to do that with, who was it a couple of years ago that he drafted the kid from Virginia Tech and the kid from UCLA, Devin Asiasi, and who was the other, Dalton
Keene.
Dalton Keene.
Oh, yeah, that worked out
great. Yeah, the double tight end draft in the 4th round where everybody made the jokes about the dog was the one making the picks.
Oh, yeah, because he had the dog on the table. And I was like, boop.
Yeah, because they were doing everything remote. Everybody was locked away, and the dog was sitting at the table making the picks. Like, he's not good. He's not a good drafter.
No, and now it's caught up to you.
But he's a damn good football coach.
And nobody disagrees with that. Nobody disagrees that in game he's as good as you can possibly have.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is this is a perfect storm. Of you have what happens to sophomore quarterbacks almost 100 times out of 100.
Step back.
Why?
They figure it out.
Because the league gets tape on you.
Mm-hmm.
And they figure out what you can't do. And you know what the league got from Mac Jones last year? He can't play in cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a joke. I mean, he's out here wearing a scuba suit when it's 25 degrees, and he threw for 6 yards in a game they won.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so take out all of those games from roughly November on that are in Foxborough, that are in cold weather climates. And there are 3 of those, and they have to go to Buffalo in the end of the season once it gets cold.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at the weapons. And look, I like Devontae Parker. He burned me for many years. But he's still talented. But I don't know that he's the quintessential player you want for a Mac Jones. Because what he does so well is catch radius. He's not overly fast. He's reasonably physical, but he's a big-bodied receiver that's good at the point of the catch. I don't know that that's exactly what you want here. You need somebody that can stretch a defense vertically.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have that.
But Kendrick Bourne.
Stop. 60th best receiver in this league.
But, I mean, he's their deep threat.
And that kind of tells you everything. Well, him and Tyquan Thornton, who he beats fast real good.
Right.
I can't tell you anything else he does. I will still maintain if Tyquan Thornton ever in his life has 1,000-yard receiving season, I will eat my hat on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about put it in an air fryer and eat it.
How boring is this team going to be?
Gruesomely.
I agree.
And the schedule is god-awful. I mean, about as bad as it could possibly be. You don't have 2 back-to-back games at any point on the schedule that I actually think you would be the favorite in.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a lot of momentum. I feel like you're going to try to win gross. This team's going to want to run the ball, and I think they're going to be able to run. Just throwing that out there, I think they're going to be able to run.
Yeah, I believe so, too.
But because I do like a lot of what's in the backfield. I do like the offensive line, and I don't really have a problem with the defense. My biggest problem with the defense is, okay, do you realize how many high-level receivers you're going to play? And who's your one? Who's the guy?
Mills.
That's kind of my point.
Yeah.
And then you look down the schedule and realize that you're going to have to deal with, I don't know, Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Jefferson, Michael Pittman. How are you going to stop any of these guys? I mean, unless you just double them at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think you're so weak on the backside that unless Matthew Judon becomes better than he is, of which referencing that same edge rusher poll I referenced earlier in the show, not one of the 50 had 1 vote for Matthew Judon as a top 10 edge rusher in this league. He's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think the scheme greatly benefits him. But if you notice last year, he kind of waned. It started good, and then it just kind of trailed off because people figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid of Josh Uche. I'm not afraid of any of these other pieces that they have. I just look at this roster and go, there's nothing you do overly well. And the few things you do well are not what promote winning football in this league.
Mm-hmm.
You're the typewriter salesman the day the computer came out.
Agreed.
It's fantastic that you have the best typewriter ever. It still doesn't compete with my computer. Even the worst version of it, it doesn't compete with that.
Mm-mm.
And that's where I see this team.
Yeah, I believe that Bill Belichick's, we've been calling it for years, though. Soon the wheels are going to fall off. We said that about them, the year that Tom Brady left, and, well, it wasn't a great year. They still won, 7 games that year with Cam Newton starting in 2020? And then last year they won 9-10 games.
And you just see the regression.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it's at. And towards the end of the year, it was very obvious that teams had figured out what McCorkle had to offer. We said this in the draft process last year. He's the most ready to come in and play right now.
Mm-hmm.
He also has the lowest ceiling by a mile.
Yep.
And if one more person says, he's in the best shape of his life, and I still guarantee you he runs about a 5.6 40.
But if you don't have the weapons to support the quarterback, then you've got a problem. And I feel like that's where this team is.
And that all goes back to Bill. That all goes back to Bill. If you had been hitting these receivers and these tight ends and these weapons, you would have a limited Mac Jones. But you would have weapons around him, and he's so cheap that you would have been able to continue this along. You can't draft this poorly and it not burn you eventually.
Agreed.
This is what I've been saying for 10 years, and people, you're just a Jets fan. You're a hater. No, I'm a draft guy. And the sheer fact that you've done this for this long and gotten away with it is just credit to how unbelievably incredible Tom Brady was. Well, now you're to where the rubber meets the road.
Mm-hmm. Need to give Mac Jones some weapons if he's going to have success in this league. And I don't know that you did this. Look, I tried to make the excuses for him in 2020 with Cam Newton. Cam Newton's pretty good. He's pretty accurate when he keeps the throws short. So maybe that's what they're trying to do, is just keep everything short, go to the accuracy of Mac Jones. You got Devontae Parker and Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers.
And Nelson Aguilar.
Two tight ends that could keep things close. You still got James White that he could throw to out of the backfield. But really, this day and age in the NFL, you can't look at this team and go, this is a legitimate contending team.
No, you have a slew of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, be real honest with yourself. If you think Tyquan Thornton is everything he was billed to be because he's so fast, do you really think Bill's going to be the one to develop that?
No.
Do you think Joe Judge is going to be the one to develop that? Or Pat Matricia? Or any of this cast of characters that they have?
And what is it, Pat?
Pat will be calling the plays.
Pat's calling the plays.
Yeah, we don't call him Matt Patricia on the show.
Right.
His name is Pat Matricia.
Pat Matricia is going to be – but I thought I read where they were splitting the offense. Like
they
Joe
are.
Judge is focusing on the receiving and the passing, and Pat Matricia is focusing on the running game. Or
But
vice
from everything
versa.
that has with tea leaves, they think
Matt
Patricia. It's hard to say once you said it wrong that many times.
It is.
We'll be the one calling plays.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Check us out at thesportsocracy.com. More coming up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
A nice afternoon drive around Asheville right now. No major problems to tell you about on 240. We are rolling accident-free between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 east and westbound, no problems as we approach I-40. Also 191 and Long Shoals Road. A little bit of some long-term construction on 40 in both directions right around Dunsmore Avenue. I'm Tom Miter with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. Charging a cell phone can be like getting a booster shot. A booster is given to enhance or restore protection after a primary series vaccination, which wanes over time. Schedule an appointment when you are eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Don't miss the Greater Smokies Card Show, July 16th at the Smoky Mountain Event Center. Find amazing sports and trading cards, collectibles, memorabilia, toys, and comics. Admission is just $5 for adults. Kids 12 and under are free. Greater Smokies Card Show, Saturday, July 16th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Smoky Mountain Event Center, 758 Crabtree Road in Waynesville. Vendors register today for only $40. Email greatersmokiescardshow@gmail.com. Presented by Lemons and Willow Event Management.
You do not want to miss this. Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning's huge summer sale is going on now. 15% off all cleaning services. Carpets, rugs, upholstery, tile, and even air ducts all 15% off. Use promo code Summer Sale at ZeroResAsheville.com. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and his exact words were, "It changed my life."
I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub.
It's like seriously magic, and my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, doors, and walls, and even keeping my sneakers clean.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Greatest invention ever.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, the unicorn of cleaning.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? Quality oil like Valvoline Full Synthetic can help you get more out of every mile. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for only $36.99. Got an older vehicle? Try Valvoline Full Synthetic High Mileage options. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You should be watching the World Cup right now, but you're not. Want to know why? Well, it's an interesting story, a mix of true crime, political scandal, and slow simmering corruption. You'll hear all about it on our new podcast, The Lords of Soccer, How FIFA Stole the Beautiful Game. I'm Connor Powell. The 12-part series from iHeartRadio and Inside Voices is out now. Listen to The Lords of Soccer on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy, let me help you.
But at Ingles, we know that a lot of our heroes
Now you look like a pro.
are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingles,
See you later, Dad.
all the ingredients for family.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville, and we have a new member
of the House of Reprehensibles, which is our YouTube membership group.
That's right, Lance Dominguez. Welcome aboard to the House of Reprehensibles. And while we're on the subject of the House of Reprehensibles, starting next week, we are going to have a new special thing only for House of Reprehensibles members called Reprehensible Takes.
So one of the things that became very obvious when we gained the third hour on the radio side was that there were a lot of people that missed the uncensored takes that came with the happy hour. So we brainstormed on this and we came up with an idea. People that are members of the YouTube channel, you have access to this little forum where videos that only you can see. And so the subjects that we talk about on a daily basis, we will be putting out 2, 3, 4 minute uncensored videos that only you can see. And they will be called Reprehensible Takes.
Reprehensible Takes. All right, starting next week for House of Reprehensible members only. So if you are not a part of the House of Reprehensibles, it's very easy to register and sign up. All you got to do is go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link in the middle of the page, subscribe to the channel, and then after you subscribe to the YouTube channel, there will be a join button. You hit that join button. It's a very nominal monthly fee that just gets you into the chat. You get a little beer mug next to your name in the chat.
It changes colors the longer you're around.
That's right.
It's all inclusive. But this is one of the new things that will be coming along. We're trying to streamline everything.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just another layer of that.
Lance did ask, though, my question is, do you think that the Packers should sign Julio Jones?
I don't know that anybody should sign Julio Jones with the intention of him being anything more than a jet ski. A jet ski's fine if you just, you got money, you got discretionary income, you take it to the lake, you have fun. Mm-hmm. If you're expecting it to get you to work every day, you're probably going to be a little disappointed.
Right.
So you really want, and I do look at Green Bay as a landing spot there. I look at a couple others. It would make sense, but I think you should really count very little on him.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to bring him in expecting big numbers like he used to put up down in Atlanta. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Sports Center coming up next. Usually we say goodbye at this time, but hang on. Third hour coming your way.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the main track for thunderstorms for the next couple of days is going to stay just to the north of us, with big storms likely across parts of northern North Carolina, southern Virginia, kind of missing us to the north. Can't rule out some stray storms next several days, though. 69 degrees tonight with an isolated slow-moving thunderstorm. Isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms Wednesday, Thursday, high temps in the upper 80s. Greatest risk of strong weather to our north. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria-Moore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples is your one-stop travel prep destination. Right now, when you purchase any travel service like passport photos, you can get 20% off your purchase. In-store only. Offer ends 7/31. See staples.com/travel for details and exclusions. Get travel ready at Staples, the working and learning store.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Little bit of some slow traffic in Buncombe this afternoon. This is going to be on 26 eastbound in between Long Shoals Road and New Airport Road. Just a heads up for a little bit of slow traffic. Traffic doing really well now on the eastbound side of 26 as we approach I-40. And more good news from 240 westbound. No delays between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. I'm Tom Miner with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.
Ray Magliozzi here. The tear in my driver's seat does have sentimental value since my butt's molded to fit it. But I'm ready for a new one from eBay Motors with all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. Till then, I'll just scooch. eBay Motors, let's ride.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Down 2 sets early, six-time Wimbledon champion Novak Djokovic rallied to beat Jannik Sinner in the quarterfinals today. It was a 26th-straight Wimbledon victory for Djokovic. From ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, NBA free agent forward T.J. Warren agreed to a one-year deal with the Nets. The signing comes amid a turbulent offseason for Brooklyn, which got a trade request last week from Kevin Durant, also faces uncertainty about Kyrie Irving's future. The Lakers reportedly one of the teams inquiring about Kyrie. Howard J. Williams.
I think LeBron James and him are extremely compatible. I think they're more compatible than KD and Kyrie because of how you can put them in pick and rolls, because how they can play off each other, because of LeBron is such an incredible facilitator. It allows Kyrie to play off the ball.
JF Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Tiger Woods said today he skipped the U.S. Open because he had some issues with his surgically repaired right leg and didn't want to jeopardize his chances of playing in this month's British Open. The Sharks hiring Mike Greer as their general manager. He will become the first black man in the history of the NHL to hold a GM position.
When you're trying to hire, all that searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, the end-to-end hiring solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Credit. That's credit. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNABL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome back into the Ingles studio here on ESPN Asheville, the maiden voyage of the third hour.
We're not gone yet.
Nah, we are not. 3 to 6 now, every weekday afternoon here on ESPN Asheville. Heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click on the live video link. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And you can also join the House of Reprehensibles. You'll be getting, a little extra content coming up starting next week with the reprehensible takes that are going to be for HOR members only.
That's where you'll get to hear the wordy dirds that we're not allowed to say here on this here program. And it'll be kind of like the old happy hours. For those of you that don't know, if you're just getting in your car and you're used to us being gone, this is our first third hour. We used to do this YouTube exclusively, and now we're doing it on ESPN Radio, thanks to our friends at Ingles Markets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. We cannot thank them enough. This would not have been possible without them.
All right, and we thank everybody for tuning in with us here on ESPN Asheville, also on the YouTube stream. Welcome in Colin Greene, Jeremy's cousin, to the House of Reprehensibles. Not really Jeremy's cousin. It's just the same last name.
Also has a mullet, apparently.
Yeah, they both have mullets, and he says he's throwing it down. He's thrown down the gauntlet. One has to go. So, Colin, I guess you're going to have to start shaving your head because Jeremy is, as many times as he's been begged by his wife to cut his mullet, he's not letting it go. So, Colin, you're going to have to be the one that breaks on that.
Or we could run a contest. Contests are fun.
I don't even want to know. You
I do
come up
like
with
charity
plans.
things.
You do love charity things. So he's willing to shave his head for charity. You heard it right here, folks. Jeremy going complete bald. That's what I want to see. I want to see what that skull looks like.
No, you don't. It's not great.
Yeah.
No, it's not great.
That's why I wear a hat, because I don't have any hair to cover up my misshapen skull. And that's where it is. So, top of the third o'clock hour.
3 o'clock.
Yeah, the 3 o'clock hour. This is how long my day's been. The top of the 3 o'clock, the third hour of the program each and every day. Here we're going to do the daily draft. We're draft dudes. We're draft nerds. Jeremy does all the heavy lifting on the draft stuff, but I like to tag along every now and then. So, the daily draft today is going to be 4th of July. What, party essentials?
Correct.
Okay.
So basically what we're going to do is we're going to build our own little cookout, and on the social medias after the show, you'll be able to determine which party you would go to. Thanks to the House of Reprehensibles in our YouTube chat, you have won the first pick.
I have won the first pick. So with the first pick in the 4th of July cookout ingredients?
Essentials. I'm curious to see where you go here.
Alcohol.
Oh.
I mean, can I take all of the alcohol?
I think that's too broad.
Okay.
I think you either have to go beer, cocktails, whatever.
Okay,
I don't think you can completely rob me of alcohol. That'd be like saying meat. You can have no meat. This shall be a vegan party.
All right. Well, in that case, I'm not a terribly big beer fan, so I will go cocktails. We'll take the cocktails.
Oh, so you mean with back-to-back picks, I get to go beer and fireworks?
You get the beer.
One. Done. I think we can already say I've won this.
No. You did not, because I get the hamburgers. 4th of July cookouts, nothing without the hamburgers.
All right, so through 2 rounds, you have cocktails and hamburgers. I have fireworks and beer.
Mm-hmm.
I really like where I'm sitting here.
Well, I'm glad you do.
I really like where I'm sitting. I swear I would have bet anything that you wanted that your first pick would have been fireworks.
No, I'm not a big fireworks guy.
That blows my mind.
Really not.
Because you are the biggest fan of cheap things I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. But I don't like cheap fireworks.
But you don't buy them. You go to a cookout of somebody else's, they buy the fireworks, and you enjoy the fruits of their labor.
Oh, sure.
I was positive that's how you were going to start this.
To me, fireworks not necessary for the 4th of July cookout.
Wow. See, to me, that is 100% necessary.
Well, I mean, that's your redneck side coming out. You just have to have stuff to blow out.
No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of throws my draft strategy off because I was already convinced that I was going to lose the bang bangs.
All right, so I got cocktails and hamburgers.
Mm-hmm. And you're up again.
And I'm up again. All right, so chips. You got to go chips. Every good party's got to have chips.
That's a good one. All right, so obviously a hot dog is going to fall in here.
Yeah.
I feel like I've already won this. I almost feel like I could say something stupid here, like potato salad.
Potato salad?
I love potato salad.
All right.
Any mayonnaise-based thing that you can call a salad is going to be something I'm fond of. I do feel like I've won this. I almost feel like I've gotten too arrogant here.
Oh, sure.
I got 3 of my top 4 picks, and now I almost just want. You know what I'm doing? I'm going potato salad.
Potato salad. Good for you. All right, I got the watermelon. Winner chicken dinner.
I did that wrong. I do love a good watermelon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I feel like I did that wrong.
Yep.
I still won.
Yep. I'm sure the House of Reprehensibles and the viewers joining us along, the subscribers on the YouTube stream, will say that you won as well. I feel like I'm the winner here, but
well, I mean, I wanted
fireworks.
You got the first pick and didn't take fireworks.
Hell no, I didn't.
That just blows my mind.
To me, it's not the star of the party.
What is?
The food, obviously. And the alcohol.
Well, I mean, we do call this the happy hour, so I think we both knew somehow we were both going to get some kind of libation.
Right.
I'm shocked that you're not a fireworks guy.
Lance says it's way too early for potato salad. Well, here's the thing. The way that this was described to me was we only get 4 picks.
We only get 4 picks.
So
every day when we do this, we will go through 4 rounds. We will pick 4 individual things, and after the show, you, the loyal constituency of this here program, will get to determine whose party you want to go to.
And now, since I got the cocktails, I get all the liquor. I get the drunk watermelon as well. Have you ever done that? I've seen the YouTube.
Do you see who you're talking to?
Well, I know, but I didn't know if you had, if you'd done that before, where you dump the bottle of liquor into the watermelon and just let it soak in.
Oh, absolutely.
Never done it.
Most of those party tricks are things that I've accomplished at some point.
Either accomplished or invented.
I've invented a few that I don't think I'm legally allowed to say on this show.
Yeah, well, we don't need to go there.
I'm a little bit of a libation scientist. You get to a point where you're like, you've seen me do this.
All right, so I'm holding the 4th of July party. Independence Day party, actually, as it's known in my house.
Yeah, and when I do the graphic for this, I'm going to make sure yours is an Independence Day party. Mine is a 4th of July party because you really like clarifying the difference.
Yes, I do. I'm going cocktails, burgers, chips, watermelon.
And mine is fireworks, beer, hot dogs, and potato salad. I absolutely feel like I walked you in this.
Yeah, I knew you would. You always do. And I'm going to say you're wrong because I got the better drinks, I got the better entree, and I got the watermelon.
All right, so now that we've done this, and I had a feeling that this was vaguely how it would go. Still dumbfounded you didn't take fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a 4th of July party if there's no burgers and hot dogs?
Sure.
So you can do hoity-toity shrimp cocktail 4th of July party?
100%.
I struggle with that.
Now, if I'm hosting, I'm way too cheap for that. And so we're going hot dogs and hamburgers. But if money were no object, absolutely. I'm doing full on. Everybody's getting a ribeye. We're doing shrimp cocktails. Might do some lobster tails on the side.
One of my biggest regrets of this weekend, I did at no point have a hot dog. I watched Joey Chestnut eat 63 of them and was physically repulsed.
So gross. Why? Why do you watch that?
I can't emphasize this enough. Because it's funny. I am repulsed by the idea of dunking a hot dog in water.
Oh, sure.
That's just absolutely disgusting.
To me, the hot dog eating contest at Coney Island, like it was a cool thing for a couple of years. And every time you watch it, it just gets grosser and grosser and grosser. And now Joey Chestnut's won it 15 times. Why do you even bother watching it? You know nobody's even going to come near him. I mean, hell, there was a protester at this year's that he had to defend himself from whilst eating the hot dogs.
Okay, so
I
fully understand that we're both on the PhD weight loss program, and so this is going to be a more difficult question for you to answer than it would have been a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
How many hot dogs can you eat at one sitting?
Obviously, we're doing hot dogs and buns.
Oh, absolutely.
I would say probably 5 or 6, and then I got to tap out.
Oh, I'd do 13 standing on my head.
13 standing on your head.
No doubt.
Yikes.
And they would have mayonnaise and mustard on all of them.
See, again, not a huge fan of the bread. Like, if we're talking, like, just dogs, like, hell, I'll eat 13 while I'm cooking them.
Yeah, no, this has to be bun.
Yeah.
This has to be bun.
Yeah, see, I can't. I just can't take on all that bread.
I seriously believe I could do 13. I mean, I'm never getting anywhere near what the competitive eaters do.
I smell a challenge coming.
I do too. That's kind of why I said it.
I smell a challenge coming. Maybe this should be one of our reprehensible takes. Maybe we do a hot dog eating contest for a reprehensible takes episode.
You know what? I think that's a brilliant idea.
It is decided.
I am going to demolish you
Oh,
in
I'm
this.
sure you will. I am sure you will.
Do we have to make it fair? Like, do I have to put coleslaw on mine? I feel like that would make it more fair.
Would that be fair?
Well, because I'm me.
Oh,
and I'm super competitive, and I don't like to lose. So I will make myself physically ill just to win.
I don't know. I mean, a good hot dog. It's not a great hot dog unless you have all the fixings.
100%.
I mean, chili,
I
diced onions.
don't put chili on hot dogs ever.
What is wrong with you?
I don't ever put chili on hot dogs.
Chili,
It's not
onions,
even that I don't
mustard.
like it. It never.
I want it with all the things.
I want it with ketchup, mustard, and maybe some mayonnaise if I feel like being a little bougie.
Bougie.
9 times out of 10, I don't want to take the effort to spread the mayonnaise.
Yeah. That's the first thing that goes on a hot dog, in my opinion.
Mustard?
Is the mayonnaise. You mayonnaise the bread, put the dog on, and you go stream of mustard, stream of ketchup, chili, diced onions, coleslaw, relish on top of that.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh. And then you douse it with hot sauce on the top. That's the perfect hot dog right there.
That gave me heartburn hearing you say that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have to go take a Pepsi during the break.
That's the only way to do it. All right, Daily Draft is in the books. You get to decide in the chat who won. Did I win? Did Jeremy win? He got the fireworks, but I got the liquor. I feel like I got the better of the deal. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Well, we've got a disabled vehicle this go round. This is going to be on 26 westbound in Buncombe, right at mile marker 36. Looks like the right lane is blocked here. Still some slow traffic on 26 eastbound. A few extra brake lights between Long Shoals Road and New Airport Road. I'm Tom Miter with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by TP Howard Plumbing.
Hey, this is Josh Howard with TP Howard's Plumbing. There's nothing worse than a plumbing emergency. We need plumbers, helpers, utility foremen, laborers, and operators. Full benefits included. Call TP Howard's Plumbing at 628-1369. That's 628-1369. Equal opportunity employer.
Let me hit you with some good news here. I got on my scale this morning, and it said 219 pounds. I am just going crazy over the PhD weight loss program because the pounds continue to fall off. We've been on this program since just before Thanksgiving, and I have lost over 70 pounds. I walked in at 295. It is absolutely blowing my mind.
Tank is quickly approaching light heavyweight status in the UFC.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to exactly where I want to be. One of my biggest problems was that I couldn't sleep. I'd gotten so heavy, sleep apnea was wearing on me. And now with the weight that I've lost, I'm back to my high school weight, and I'm sleeping like a baby, and it's thanks to the plan and the food at PhD Weight Loss.
Nutrition is the key to fat loss. 80% of the work comes from changing your nutrition, and PhD has the plan. MyPhDWeightLoss.com. PhD Weight Loss is the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
Choosing Sides, F1, a podcast about... What are we doing here, Lily?
Well, you're in the right place, Michael. I'm Lily Herman, Formula One expert.
And I'm Michael Costa, comedian, and I'm just going to be honest here, complete F1 newbie.
On this inaugural season of Choosing Sides, we're tackling the historic and controversial sport of Formula One race car driving.
Who are these drivers? Rich kids? Daddy issues?
Daddy issues galore. Listen to Choosing Sides F1 on the iHeartRadio app.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Sportsocracy.
Take all this, burn it, okay? Gasoline, kerosene, either one. Burn it.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We are coming to you live from the Ingles Studio as we await the start of the NFL season,
which is getting closer and closer and closer.
The countdown to NFL training camps continues. We will talk about the season preview of the Philadelphia Eagles, or the camp preview of the Philadelphia Eagles, coming up in the next segment. But we got some basketball things to clean up, because now there's all the talk, all the rumors going on about what's going to happen with the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving opted into his $47 million option, but nobody in Brooklyn seems to want him around. And
nobody wants him, period, except the Los Angeles Lakers. The idea that the Dallas Mavericks and the Philadelphia 76ers have called to inquire is one of the dumbest scare tactics I think I've ever seen. You do realize that James Harden still plays in Philadelphia, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's what blew up the Nets in the first place.
Yep.
Why in the world would they risk bringing in Kyrie Irving?
They wouldn't.
It makes no sense.
No.
And then you get into the manifestations of what that would look like. You would gut that team just to make the numbers work. Because obviously you wouldn't give up Embiid and you wouldn't give up Harden. So now you're going to have to get into Tobias Harris and Matisse Thybulle and Tyrese Maxey, and you're not going to do that.
No.
And then you go Dallas, which you have Luka Doncic, who is a ball-dominant point guard, which is the exact same problem they have with Ben Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
The Kyrie thing to L.A. is happening. I know Shams Charania came out and said, well, I'm not so sure. I am sure. I'm 100% sure. I have zero doubt of it. Or he just goes to flat earth out in some commune somewhere, because the only way he's playing in this league next year is with the Los Angeles Lakers. Nobody else is paying that salary. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And the Nets know what they are at this point. Now, Kendrick Perkins has come out, ESPN NBA analyst, and said he doesn't really think Kevin Durant wants to be traded, that this is just a leverage play to help his buddy Kyrie, which may be the stupidest thing you hear all day long. If it's not, it's in the top 5.
It makes no sense.
No, he wants out, and now it's all posturing, because every team in the league is bringing their best hand to deal with the Brooklyn Nets. And the question is, where does KD want to play? And it all goes back to the Suns for me. That's where he wants to be. It's the one. That's the team that makes the most sense, because they have Mikal Bridges, they have DeAndre Ayton. Ayton would have to wind up with a third team. Apparently, they don't want him, which that courtship has been hilarious. Oh, we want him. We don't. Anybody else?
Right.
Send him somewhere else.
Currently, the favorites to land Kevin Durant are the Suns, followed by the Toronto Raptors and the Philadelphia 76ers.
The Sixers make no sense to me, really. Because I don't know how you're going to facilitate it. You're not going to have a deal that's built around Tobias Harris to get Kevin Durant.
Right.
Now, the Raptors have a lot of pieces. I think it's the most seamless. If this is if you told me this was a 2-team trade, all right, it's probably either Miami or Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And in our YouTube comments, Rob Johnson asked, what about Miami? There's one problem with them. He doesn't want to play in Miami without Jimmy Butler and without Kyle Lowry. If you take those two out, there is almost no way to make the money work.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it, but it is not great. And that's one of the things you have to remember about these deals. Remember back to when Shaq got traded by the Lakers and he went to the Heat. There was never any doubt what team he wanted to go to, but we played this fun merry-go-round for about a week of, well, could it be team A, B, C? No. He just didn't want you to trade Dwayne Wade to get him because then you're in the same position that you're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like that's where Kevin Durant's at. He wants to play with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Nothing's going to change that. If he winds up in Phoenix, those two have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't see another location that makes sense. I mean, yeah, Miami's got the trade assets, but is Brooklyn really going to be jumping all over themselves to go Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson? I mean, I'm sure he would be fine with it because he's still.
Bam? Do you have to give up Bam in that
I think
deal?
you would have to.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, when he came out and said he wants to play in Miami, Bam was not mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
It was Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler, the two he wanted to play with. So, I mean, I think it's still going to get done, but it's going to take time.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, and the Nets have basically come out and said they're willing to do this all the way up into training camp. They don't care. They're going to get the best offer.
Oh, yeah.
And at least half the teams in the league are in on this, but I think you can cull it down to just a few.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto makes sense, but you would have to practically gut that team to get it.
There's been a whole lot of talk over the weekend, too, of Kevin Durant flirting with rejoining the Golden State Warriors.
The Warriors can give you the best offer. I just don't know that that's how you want to do this. I mean, because you would be giving up unbelievable amounts of talent.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the backside of the Steph Curry era would be built on Kuminga and James Weissman and Moses Moody and Jordan Poole. You'd have to give up all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And Wiggins. And I know this is going to sound weird. I don't know that I would want to. If I'm Golden State, I don't know that I want to give up 5 rotation pieces, plus the draft picks it's going to take, because that shortens your window.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you have nothing.
The question that I keep coming back to in this discussion of will Kevin Durant rejoin the Golden State Warriors, why does he need to? Or why do they need him to? We just won an NBA title without him. We don't need Kevin Durant. So why would I mortgage my future to get Kevin Durant back for 3-4 years? I mean, it's going to be a good run anyway.
Something I do need to touch on, because Kelvin Joyner said this in our YouTube comments. The Nets can't legally trade for Bam and Ben Simmons end up on the roster, so I need to clarify something with that. In a lot of these, Ben Simmons is going to be a throwaway piece. There are people in this league that don't believe he'll ever play another game. So I could see him being a San Antonio Spur or one of these teams that have cap space, because they're going to have to absolve it.
Mm-hmm.
But I should have pointed out that you can't do that straight up. You can't have 2 players that are on rookie max deals at the same time, and Simmons is on one and so is Bam.
Mm-hmm.
So the Miami thing gets very convoluted. You'd have to have at least a 3rd team. You might have to have a 4th team. And I go back to what's a nice way to say this? I've long used the phrase, when you hear hoofbeats, it makes a lot more sense to assume horses than zebras. So you've got 2 heavy hitter, expensive pieces that you're looking at offloading. Does it not make more sense to do that in the same deal as opposed to 2 separate? Because you're jumping through a billion hoops over here. Kyrie ends up with the Lakers. KD gets to where he's trying to go. You're probably going to have to funnel DeAndre Ayton through a 4th team, and it gets super convoluted. And that's why this is taking so long. It's not, oh, nobody's interested or Brooklyn's going to hold on to him. I will take anybody's money of he ain't playing another game in Brooklyn.
Is there a way Ayton ends up in Los Angeles?
No.
Okay.
And he wouldn't be a great fit there anyway. LA will come out of this getting rid of Russell Westbrook's contract and with the headache that is Kyrie Irving.
Mm-hmm.
But I almost think you have to do this as one big mutant deal. And when you start getting into 3 and 4 team trades, that's why this takes so long.
Oh, yeah.
Jumping through all the hoops and figuring out where everybody has to go. Plus, you have to find one team, usually a small market team, that's willing to be the dumping ground, because they most likely would end up with Russell Westbrook, who no one wants outside of a team that's very close to here.
Will the Charlotte Hornets finally get what they want? Oh, God.
They found a way to skirt Mike D'Antoni, so I'm going to hope that they find a way to skirt the other albatross I've been afraid they end up with.
We'll just have to wait and see. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Coming up next, don't do crimes.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the main track for thunderstorms for the next couple of days is going to stay just to the north of us, with big storms likely across parts of northern North Carolina, southern Virginia, kind of missing us to the north. Can't rule out some stray storms next several days, though. 69 degrees tonight with an isolated slow-moving thunderstorm. Isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms Wednesday, Thursday, high temps in the upper 80s. Greatest risk of strong weather to our north. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
We've got some stop-and-go traffic now on 191 northbound and between Long Shoals Road and Blue Ridge Parkway. Heads up for a little bit of some slow traffic here. Also looking at a few extra brake lights on 26 eastbound between Long Shoals Road and New Airport Road. No accidents, just a little bit of some volume. Traffic moving along nicely, 240 westbound between Route 70 and Haywood Street. Also looking pretty good on 26 eastbound as we approach I-40. I'm Tom Miner with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Try Taco Bell's new cheesy double beef burritos now. A melty 3-cheese blend with nacho cheese sauce and double the seasoned beef in classic and spicy. At participating stores for a limited time while supplies last. Prices vary, tax extra. Double the seasoned beef as compared to beefy melt burrito.
Choosing Sides, F1, a podcast about... What are we doing here, Lily?
Well, you're in the right place, Michael. I'm Lily Herman, Formula One expert.
And I'm Michael Costa, comedian, and I'm just going to be honest here, complete F1 newbie.
On this inaugural season of Choosing Sides, we're tackling the historic and controversial sport of Formula One race car driving.
Who are these drivers? Rich kid? Daddy issues.
Daddy issues galore. Listen to Choosing Sides F1 on the iHeartRadio app.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
The free iHeartRadio app is your summer travel soundtrack. Whether you're hitting the road, taking a flight, or hanging out by the pool, you can take your favorite radio station with you everywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app. Enjoy tons of playlists filled with summer anthems like Songs of Summer, Yacht Rock, Beach Vibes, and Kids Summer, plus all the podcasts. You can escape the heat with chilling true crime podcasts or soak up the sun with some comedy fun and so much more. It's all free and it's all waiting for you now on the iHeartRadio app. Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Oh, we all know what that music means. Somebody's doing crimes. And it's time for our brand new segment here in the brand new third hour of the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Now heard weekdays 3 to 6 on 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400, and of course everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Don't do crimes.
We say this in this segment, in the weird segment all the time, so now we've just moved the crime stories into the third hour.
Well, that doesn't mean we're not going to have crime stories everywhere else.
Oh, I mean, there are so many unbelievably stupid criminal stories that sometimes we'll do it 3 times in one show.
Mm-hmm.
But now we have one dedicated. Don't do crimes.
All right, this story is about a distressed mother in Nigeria who reported to police that her children were missing. And, you know, when you're one of the things you don't expect to hear as law enforcement when mom says, my kids are missing, I think they're at church. Well, it just so happens that's exactly where they were. Police in Nigeria have rescued 77 people in a mass abduction story that apparently the followers of the, it's the Whole Bible Believers Church in the Valentino area of Ondo Town, Nigeria, where these people were apparently kept for months, some of them, inside this church as they were told that the second coming of Jesus Christ is nearing. In fact, they were told that he would return in April. And many of them have been waiting in the church since April and told not to leave.
And it's July.
And yeah, exactly. 77 people had to be rescued. There were dozens of children, 26 children, 8 teenagers, and 43 adults. Don't do crimes. And how do people fall for this?
I will never understand that.
There have been countless numbers of people who have tried to predict the second coming for ages now. And it always, he's coming back. Next time.
I just watched a cult documentary on Netflix that had me enthralled for a full weekend.
Good Lord. Yeah, more. I'm sure more will be revealed about this story in the coming days, but I just don't do weird things.
Name this state. A 44-year-old woman brought her infant grandchild to visit a family member.
Okay.
In jail.
Uh-huh.
Last week, I told you a story of someone going to jail and doing Tawny Kitayan things on the hood of her car like she was in a Whitesnake video.
Yeah.
This 44-year-old grandmother, he did something very similar. She went to visit the family member, took the child.
Okay.
And she went into the DeSoto Correctional Institution, and she had a diaper bag with her, with the child. Because obviously you need a diaper bag to take care of a child. And in the diaper bag, they found toys. They found diapers. They found other essentials for taking care of the child. But then along came an officer named Liberty. Liberty is the drug-sniffing canine at the DeSoto Correctional Institution, where his free air sniff of her car resulted in finding 687 grams of cocaine and heroin.
That's a lot.
They found some on her, which was in the diaper bag, as I stated. They also found more in the car, which was sitting in the car seat. Don't bring children. Okay, don't do crimes. Certainly don't bring children to doing crimes. The baby was turned over to the Department of Children and Families. The woman was charged with trafficking narcotics, introduction of contraband into a correctional facility, child abuse and neglect, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Name that state.
Florida.
Bingo.
DeSoto County. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that you would know what that county was. I always forget that you're from Florida.
I'm not from Florida.
Oh, I know your family's from Florida.
Yeah.
And also, it should tell you something that virtually every time I play Guess That State, it's either Florida, Alabama, or West Virginia.
Right. I always wondered about the reporting on these things, too. Like, I mean, I get that. So it was what? Like you said, 637 grams?
687, which is 3.5 ounces, if you're curious.
I was going to say 687 grams. What's the conversion on that? That's 1.5 pounds. Like, does that not sound better? Does it not sound more?
Yes.
I mean, like, how much cocaine did she have? 600 grams. I don't know how much that is.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. They found 3.5 ounces on her. Then they found the 687 grams in the car, which is 24 ounces, which is 1.5 pounds.
Right. Like, I just feel like that's more weight. People understand 1.5 pounds of cocaine is a boatload of cocaine.
God, Americans will do anything to avoid the metric system.
We will.
We'll do anything to avoid the metric system.
Mm-hmm. I mean, heck, I get more out of cups. Like if you said 7.5 cups of of cocaine. I'd be like, oh, that's a lot of cocaine.
That's a lot.
600 grams, I really don't have any reference for that. Not a user. Let's talk about the NFL because we are doing the countdown to training camps, and our pre-camp training camp previews continue here. We do an AFC team, an NFC team each and every day. We did the New England Patriots in the last hour. Now it's time to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Jeremy, our power ranking that we did, now a month and a half ago.
That's about right.
We had the Philadelphia Eagles at 9.
And that sounded ridiculous at the time.
It did.
And it's not so ridiculous now.
Yeah, I mean, I consider the Philadelphia Eagles to be the best team in the NFC East.
I think it's by quite a ways.
I don't think it's so dramatic as you do. I feel like the Cowboys are close, but the Eagles, at this point, despite the fact that Jalen Hurts is still their quarterback, he's still fine for what this system is.
So, all right, so you think the gap between the Cowboys and the Eagles is not that drastic?
No.
Name me the position group where the Cowboys are better.
I'm going to say wide receiver, top to bottom.
You're out of your mind. Do the Cowboys have any receiver that is even in the ballpark of A.J. Brown?
C.D. Lamb's not that far.
He's quite a ways off. Now, you're also going to remember you're talking to somebody that thinks A.J. Brown's a top 5 receiver in this league.
Mm-hmm.
Did unbelievably dynamic things with Ryan Tannehill.
I feel like C.D.'s well on his way.
I don't. I think he's good. I think he's fine. I don't think he'll ever be A.J. Brown.
Okay.
Would you rather have Devontae Smith or Michael Gallup? It's Devontae Smith, and it's not even close.
I don't know about that.
It's Devontae Smith, and it's not even close. And then Dallas Goedert or I'm wanting to say Blake Jarwin. That's not right.
That one.
Nope, it's the other one.
Not that one.
Dalton Schultz. That's one where I would actually take the Cowboy.
Okay.
I like Schultz better than Goderte.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just get into a bunch of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
It gets very Quez Watkins, Greg Ward, James Washington-y from there.
Right.
I like Philadelphia better than that. I'd rather have Miles Sanders than Ezekiel Elliott, and it's not really all that close. Yeah. The line at this point, I would rather have Philadelphia's line than I would Dallas's.
Really?
I know that sounds crazy to say. They live hurt. They live hurt. The one that actually played games plays in Cincinnati now. And you lost Connor Williams, of which, yes, I know he was penalized a lot. That's a loss.
Mm-hmm.
And I just go down the roster.
Don't have a sterling reputation for staying healthy either. So
no, but if you're looking at just the starting 5, as you go in to this season, I would rather have Philadelphia's than Dallas's.
Okay.
I feel like Dallas has taken a step back at every position on this on that roster. Philadelphia, to me, is the most improved team in the NFL.
Okay.
Do you agree with that statement?
No, I hadn't really thought about it, but maybe.
In terms of just sheer talent acquisition, I don't think any team has gotten better than the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
And they were close to Dallas in the first place.
They picked up Hassan Reddick,
which is a home run acquisition to me.
Obviously, the A.J. Brown trade.
James Bradbury.
James Bradbury comes on as well. And then you drafted 2 guys, obviously, I'm super in love with Jordan Davis in the first round, and then Nakobe Dean with the steal of the draft in the 3rd round.
That might be the
most
tremendously improved roster.
Oh, absolutely.
That's probably a segment for tomorrow.
Most improved?
Most improved teams in the NFL.
Okay, we'll do most improved teams. Most improved teams coming up tomorrow here in the Sportsocracy. But the Philadelphia Eagles, yeah, I get it. They're just old. They're old. You got Jason Kelce, who I can't trust at all.
All right, but even with Jason Kelce, who, yes, is old, they also have Cam Jurgens sitting behind him, who is a player that I talked about 1,000 times.
Sure, he's a rookie, though. And I get that you're good.
And you beat me to the punch.
Yeah.
You also have Landon Dickerson playing guard.
Mm-hmm.
So even if something happened to Jason Kelce, you have 2 very good alternatives.
True.
And I feel like I can do that with this entire roster. People forget Jalen Reagor is still alive. Yeah. People forget they added Zach Pascal, who is one of the better 4th options in the league. And you do that down the entire roster.
Mm-hmm.
Something happens to Jalen Hurts, you have Gardner Minshew.
Mm-hmm.
I could make the argument that's the best backup quarterback in the NFL.
Something happens to Miles Sanders. You got Kenny Gainwell. Yeah.
And I just feel like this roster is built, even if you had a San Francisco 49er run of bad luck where everybody gets dinged up,
Mm-hmm.
there's not a place where I go, oh, well, you're doomed now.
Tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, their third option at tight end is J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
Well, and Grant Calcaterra, the
rookie.
rookie.
That's right, then.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah.
Well, the fourth option was a quarterback. Man, they like doing that. They love taking a guy that played quarterback. Like, can you catch?
Mm-hmm.
Can you run real fast?
Mm-hmm.
Because we have a quarterback that can't throw. So let's just do it down the whole roster.
Right.
You got a particular set of skills. But then the thing that really got me on Philadelphia, of which if you look at the NFC right now, there are only 5 teams that Vegas sees as more likely to win the NFC than Philadelphia. They're tied with Arizona.
Okay.
Now they're ahead of New Orleans, which makes my brain hurt. But that's beside the point.
That's the Tampa thing.
It's Dallas, San Francisco, Green Bay, L.A., Tampa Bay. I think if you're catching ridiculously good wagerable value on any team in the NFL, it's Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to keep hammering this point until either it changes or I'm born to be right. Because I look at Philadelphia as the Baltimore Ravens of the NFC. They're the team that you are completely undersold, and I do not know why.
I don't hate that.
One of the biggest drawbacks of this team was that hat on hat, they had Darius Slay and nobody on the other side. They were playing Zech McPherson as their second corner, who I thought would be a negligible corner in the slot, and they were playing him on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you've added James Bradbury,
Yep.
who's still super talented, if not overpaid for a great portion of his career. They just don't have a hole. There's not many teams I can say that about.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the schedule, which is what turned me onto this in the first place. You play the Giants, you play the Commanders twice, and you play the Cowboys, who I don't particularly believe in. They've burnt me enough times. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look outside of that, you play the Lions, the Vikings, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Arizona before they get DeAndre Hopkins back. There's not really a daunting game on this entire schedule. There is nobody I look at and go, I mean, Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. They play Tampa, too, at some point, I think.
No.
Did they not?
Nope.
No, I thought they did.
I mean, I could argue the second toughest game on the schedule is the Indianapolis Colts, who I like.
Mm-hmm.
But to be the second best team on your schedule, there are teams in this league that Indianapolis would be the third or the second easiest game in the first month of this season.
Mm-hmm.
That could be the second toughest game they play all year. So I just look at them. I'm crushing over wins. I think now that's moved to 9.5. I don't care. I do not care what that number gets because I don't think it'll get any higher.
Mm-hmm.
It's been bet to the point that Vegas now just kind of has to sit back and grin and bear it and hope. Man, I hope they don't win nearly as many games as they should because they are tremendously leveraged against Philadelphia.
They have a lot of talent on this team. I still don't believe in Jalen Hurts as a legitimate starter quarterback in the NFL, but it doesn't matter what I think. He fits the scheme that, they built the scheme around him.
And I also think they figured this out last year. Where you're going to get it, and just look at the acquisitions they made. All right, so A.J. Brown, in my opinion, the best run-after-the-catch receiver in the NFL. So what does that tell you? They know Jalen's not a heave-it-down-the-field guy. Mm-hmm. This is going to be bubble screens and just generate the touches, get the ball in his hand, and I hope that Miles Sanders stays healthy.
And every now and then you're going to hit one over the top.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I like so much is, all right, let's take the baseline and just say Jalen is no better than he's been in any of the previous seasons he's been in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I still think you're an 11-win team. If he regressed by 30%, I still think you're a 10-win team. You'd get caught by somebody like Pittsburgh or another team like that on the schedule that, no, they're not great, but they're still well coached and they can catch you.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, if I thought this was just a disaster for Hurts. I mean, to the point of they had to put in Gardner Minshew. That's still a 10-win team.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations, you'll win the East. You'll get into the playoffs.
And then probably get smoked like a honey ham.
Oh, yeah. Because I don't think you're close to the top of the league.
When you say not close.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're talking about the Rams,
yep,
the Bucks,
yep,
the Packers.
Yep.
There's nobody else there. Because you're going to be a division winner.
True.
So then you would catch a Dallas or Minnesota. I mean, I think they're better than that.
San Francisco?
That's the one. That's the one that I don't know exactly how that's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But
San
now they
Francisco,
have a much wider range.
I could see them losing a close one to the Minnesota Vikings. But, yeah, I feel like there's a top tier in the NFC, and we'll throw those three teams that you mentioned. And then there's a second tier.
And Philadelphia's
in it.
To me, they're the best of that. In terms of range of outcomes. Is there an outcome where Trey Lance becomes Jalen Hurts with a considerably better deep ball arm?
Yep.
There is. There's also a path of outcomes where he becomes Cam Newton with a much bigger propensity to turn the ball over.
You ain't wrong.
Which is horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
There's just more range of outcome there. And especially when you're betting futures, which is what you're doing now because you're 2 months away from, or you're 10 weeks as of this past Sunday from competitive football. Doesn't that feel good to say?
It does feel good.
That feel good to say.
It does feel good. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Will the Philadelphia Eagles be able to, A, win the division, and 2, if they get into the playoffs, are they going to be able to do anything? Will they be able to make any noise? Just have to wait and see. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
A little bit of stop-and-go traffic for us this afternoon on 191 northbound in between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. No accidents, just a few extra brake lights for us. Still some slow delay on 26 eastbound. We're seeing some brake lights right around Long Shoals Road all the way down towards New Airport Road. No problems to tell you about on 240, especially on the westbound side. We are rolling right along between Charlotte Street and Haywood Street. I'm Tom Miner with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Strawberry Frosty. With the Strawberry Frosty, time to enjoy yourself is built in. They're so rich and creamy, they're built for you to slow down, relax, and just take it all in. So when it's time for Frosty time, and Strawberry Frosty time is for a limited time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
You do not want to miss this. Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning's huge summer sale is going on now. 15% off all cleaning services. Carpets, rugs, upholstery, tile, and even air ducts all 15% off. Use promo code Summer Sale at ZeroResAsheville.com. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Make this the year you go to our iHeartRadio Music Festival.
iHeartRadio, let's go! Friday, September 23rd and Saturday the 24th.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
Buy your tickets now at AXS.com. Sponsored by M&M's Crunchy Cookie. Delicious crunchy cookie meets your favorite chocolate candy. That's right. New M&M's Crunch Cookie is 2 classics. Now in one. Pick them up at your local retailer.
With signs and graphics, you can say anything, do anything, be anything. So make your statement with Fast Signs. There are 1,000,001 possibilities to power your business visibility. Achieve more than you ever thought possible with Fast Signs.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching you? There's actually a simple solution. Download the DuckDuckGo app today. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Hey, it's Mark Starling from First News on 570 for my friends over at Casablanca Cigar Bar. And I got to tell you, this is my new spot for business and for pleasure. Sam, Brooke, and Jackie will make sure all of your cigar and cocktail needs are taken care of. They have a wide selection of the finest cigars in every price point, and their selection of spirits and craft cocktails will have your taste buds watering. So whether it's a smoke and a cocktail at their Biltmore Village location or just a smoke at their new retail location in Hendersonville that has a gorgeous back patio, Casablanca Cigar Bars has all the relaxation you need.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy, let me help you.
But at Ingles, we know that a lot of our heroes
Now you look like a pro.
are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingles.
See you later, Dad.
All
Bye.
the ingredients for family.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
I'm not usually an overly emotional human. If this first third hour is the first time that you're hearing this, you will very quickly learn that emotion's not something I do a lot. But sad news yesterday with the passing of Hammer and Hank Goldberg. If you are someone of my age, you grew up with your introduction to sports betting being from Hammer and Hank, because he would be the guy that came on Countdown or the Sunday preview show on ESPN, and there would be these weird little numbers with plus and minus and a little O/U. And that was in large part my introduction to the gaming side of sports, which I have come to love. Yesterday was his 82nd birthday, and he passed away. Had been being treated for chronic kidney disease. Was 500 or better in 15 of his 17 NFL seasons predicting games at ESPN, which is just unheard of for a network analyst like that, because they tend to be very safe, and that tends to go very awry. But there are a lot of people like me that love these things and identified him with Triple Crown races and many of other things like that. And it was very sad to see the legendary Hammer and Hank pass away yesterday. So T's and P's to the family, and you will be sorely missed, Hank Goldberg.
Absolutely. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Coming up tomorrow on the program, we're going to talk about the teams who have improved the most. And then we'll probably do a segment on the least improved teams as well.
It stands to reason.
As we include teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, who have made a jump this season. Coming up tomorrow, we'll also have two more pre-training camp breakdowns of an AFC team and an NFC team. We've got the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Two stalwart franchises of the NFL. It's not great. It's not great. But I feel completely different about the two of them.
Really?
I do.
Really? It's not great for the Pittsburgh Steelers. For the Dallas Cowboys, I feel like you got more hope than the Pittsburgh Steelers. But
I can't tell you that I agree with that.
We will debate that tomorrow on this here program, as we will be joining you at 3 o'clock here live in the Ingles Studio. 3 to 6 now on ESPN Asheville. And on the iHeartRadio app, and seen everywhere on YouTube. TheSportsocracy.com is the website. Click on the live video link. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also join the House of Reprehensibles. As we announced earlier in the program, we are going to have the House of Reprehensibles, or the Reprehensible Takes, available only for the members of the House of Reprehensibles starting next week, where you will get some uncensored YouTube content because, well, frankly, we are reprehensibles for a reason.
And
that's why we call ourselves that.
And we can't say those things on these here FCC airwaves.
Indeed, wouldn't dare think about it.
A late-breaking story that does my heart some good. This just came out in the last 20 minutes. A member of my 2023 NBA champion Denver Nuggets, Jamal Murray, finally practiced.
That's awesome.
It finally happened after like 19 years.
Get a healthy team. That could be a great one.
Good to see him back, though. Last year was very difficult. Obviously, being in a Charlotte Hornet market, it's very hard for me to talk about my Denver Nuggets, which are across the country. But he championed through this rehab. So many setbacks and just bad things happened over the course of the year. So good to see that Jamal Murray is back to live action.
Our 12-Bone Smokehouse and Brewery question of the day was, what is the worst day of the week for a holiday to fall on? Jeremy went with Monday. I went with Wednesday. Do we have a winner for today to enter into the drawing for the weekly prize pack?
I am going to say Matthew Hoffman, who basically agreed with me.
Oh.
It was an aggressive agreement, but now, of course, over the course of 3 hours, it is much harder to find in the YouTube comments than it was. I vow to be better at that tomorrow. But congratulations, Matthew Hoffman.
I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. We'll do the drawing at the end of the week for the 12-Bone Smokehouse and Brewery prize pack. Back here tomorrow at 3. We will see you then.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the main track for thunderstorms for the next couple of days is going to stay just to the north of us, with big storms likely across parts of northern North Carolina, southern Virginia, kind of missing us to the north. Can't rule out some stray storms next several days, though. 69 degrees tonight with an isolated slow-moving thunderstorm. Isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms Wednesday, Thursday, high temps in the upper 80s. Greatest risk of strong weather to our north. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria-Moore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Strawberry Frosty. With the Strawberry Frosty, time to enjoy yourself is built in. They're so rich and creamy, they're built for you to slow down, relax, and just take it all in. So when it's time for Frosty time, and Strawberry Frosty time is for a limited time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
A little bit of stop-and-go traffic for us this afternoon on 191 northbound in between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. No accidents, just a few extra brake lights for us. Still some slow delay on 26 eastbound. We're seeing some brake lights right around Long Shoals Road all the way down towards New Airport Road. No problems to tell you about on 240, especially on the westbound side. We are rolling right along between Charlotte Street and Haywood Street. I'm Tom Miner with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Panera. They say to never mess with the classics, but Panera did that and more with their new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. Pan-seared chicken, a secret garlic aioli recipe, Parmesan crisps, and pickled chips all on a buttery brioche roll. Try one for only a $1 delivery fee when you order on their app. Restrictions apply.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Had his back against the wall in the quarterfinals today. He dropped the first 2 sets to Yannick Sinner, then roared back and won his 26th straight match at the All-England Club. He faces Cameron Norrie in the semis. Free agent forward TJ Warren agreed to a 1-year deal with the